Miss Jane. You're just in time to say goodbye to Granny and Ellie Mae.
Where are they going?
Well, Granny was called back home on doctor business, and Ellie Mae is going along.
Doctor business?
Yeah, you see, Luke Short's girl is having a baby, so naturally they sent for Granny to fetch it into the world.
She's going all the way back to the hills for that?
That's right.
Well, don't they have anyone back there?
Oh, sure, but Luke Short owns a general store, and he can afford the best for his daughter.
And that's Granny.
Ain't none better. Funny she ain't had no calls out here.
Well, Beverly Hills is full of obstetricians.
Set in their ways, huh?
Yes.
Dad, here's the... Oh, hello, Miss Jane.
Granny?
Here's the boiled eggs and the fried chicken to eat on the train.
I hope you enjoy your trip.
I'm a doctor, Miss Jane. To me, this is just a long house call. It's a good thing you're here, Miss Jane. Don't look like Jethro's going to get back in time to take us to the train.
Well, Granny, it's 2 hours till train time.
Yeah, we ought to be at the depot right now. Tell Ellie to get a move on. I don't like to cut things as close.
I'm sure you'll make it. But why are you going by train?
Oh, Luke Short sent me a ticket and $5 expense money.
You're joking.
Oh, no. When it comes to Luke's daughters, he don't care what he spent.
Oh, well, what about Ellie's ticket?
Oh, Jed's paying for that. Ellie ain't never rode a train before. It'll be a big thrill for her. Besides, she just might meet up with a good-looking drummer or a candy butcher. Come on in.
Hi, Miss Jane.
Ellie?
Granny, how come I have to wear this scarf?
To keep the cinders and the soot out of your hair. You can tell she ain't never rode no train.
How long since you've ridden one?
1902. Rode the sea in our thunderboat. From Sibley to Bugtussle. Covered that 18 miles in 1 hour flat. Broke the record. Jethro back yet?
No, but you got prisoner,
If we miss that train, he's gonna get spanked instead of the baby. Ellie, fetch my doctor's bag. It's in the kitchen.
Yes, Granny.
I'll see that they don't miss the train, but where is Jethro?
Well, he said he was going into town to get something for him and me. The boy is really looking forward to the two of us batching it.
Well, if I can be of any assistance.
Well, thank you kindly, but I was hoping to use the time to get better acquainted with Jethro. You know, hunting, fishing, camping out, man-to-man stuff.
I understand.
Well, here it is, kitty cats. Is that a bachelor pad or is that a bachelor pad, huh?
Hey,
Meow.
See?
What in tarnation?
Why, those girls are from the Beverly Hills Kitty Cat Club.
You women wait inside. I'll tend to this.
Here, Uncle Jed. Come meet your kitty cats.
is this the uncle with all the catnip?
No, ma'am. Just money.
Hey, my kitty cats?
Well, these two is yours. This here big one is mine.
Jethro.
Well, I couldn't find another one this size. Would you settle for the 2 regulars?
Girls, excuse us. You take them girls right back where they come from.
I am. I just brung them by on approval. Couldn't have done that except I borrowed Mr. Drysdale's Kitty Cat Club key. I figure that's where we'll start tonight. Then we'll go on out to the rabbit hutch and dance with a couple of cottontails. And then to the bear's den. They got teddy bears there. And then we'll go to the deer club. They call their girls fawns. And then we'll go...
And then no place.
Oh, yeah. That's enough for the first night. Boy, you've been saying the hunting was poor in Beverly Hills. There's plenty of game if you know where to look.
I can't wait any longer. All you girls clear out. On your feet. Jed, Ellie and me's gonna miss our train.
Now, calm down, Granny. Miss Jane, I wonder if you drive these kitty cats back to their club?
Of course, the red convertible.
Stop.
Tell Mr. Drysdale we won't be needing his keys.
Oh, yes, we will, Uncle Jed. Without the keys, we won't be able to get into any of the clubs.
Get into some decent clothes. You and me is going home with Granny and Ellie Mae.
Home? You mean the hills?
That's right.
All 4 of you are going?
Yep.
Well, why can't we stay here, Uncle Jed?
Because you're too young to chase cats and I'm too old to chase you.
Oh, gee.
Here's Grace Doctor Bag, Pa. Can we leave now?
We's all leaving, Ellie.
Well, then come on, because we're going to be late.
Oh, come on, Uncle Jed. Change your mind. Listen to reason. We can have a swinging time here.
But who's going to look after my critters?
Don't you think you should talk to Mr. Drysdale before you make a decision?
Well,
Uncle Jed, we can stay. We can stay.
Hey, we've got to get back to the club.
You stay out of this.
Here you are, Chief. Here are your keys to the kitty cats, cottontails, teddy bears, and fawns. And I think you should know they have unlocked Pandora's box of trouble.
Oh, now, relax. I only loaned them to Jethro so he and his Uncle Jed wouldn't get bored and follow Granny and Ellie back to the hills.
Well, you have succeeded. They are not following them.
Good.
They're going with them.
All four of them? The whole family?
Correct?
We may never see them again. Oh, their money. That $50 million may end up in the bank of Bug Tussle. Why did you let them go?
Well, how could I stop them?
Throw yourself in front of the truck. Hey. Well, you've got hospitalization. Granny's the key. Stop her, and we stop them all.
Granny has been called home in her capacity as a doctor. Only a similar emergency would keep her here.
There, you see. If you'd have thrown yourself in front of the truck, we'd be all set. No cooperation.
Chief, she's going home to deliver a baby.
Then we'll have to come up with one. See if any of the bank employees are expecting.
Well, if they were, they'd already have a doctor.
On what I'm paying them, don't be too sure.
Really?
Now, you talk with some of those budget-minded young marrieds. Tell them they'll have free maternity care and a $10 bonus.
You are raving. In the first place, there isn't time. In the second
The
place...
Brewsters.
What?
I just remembered. The Brewsters are going to have a baby.
Well, they're adopting one.
Well, Granny doesn't have to know that. Not for a while, anyway. Where are the Crampets?
Probably on the train by now.
Well, I've got to stop them.
How?
The engineer will stop if he sees a body lying across the tracks.
Chief, no, it's too dangerous.
Oh, don't be silly. I'll be standing there, waving my hat and pointing to you. Oh, I'm so glad we caught you. I want the Brewsters to have the best doctor in the business.
They got her.
And they got you to thank for stopping that train.
Bravest thing I ever did hear tell of. Engineer said somebody laid right down on the tracks.
I reckon that's Mr. Drysdale.
Oh, please, let's not talk about it.
That sure must have been something to say.
Just watching it scared Miss Jane. She's still sitting in the car, white as a sheet and shaking like a leaf.
You know women. Well, we's almighty happy to hear that the Brewster's expecting a young'un.
And you and Miss Jane can take me right over to see him.
Oh, she doesn't know yet that I was able to get you. I'll tell him the good news.
Well, you tell Mr. Brewster not to worry. I ain't lost a father yet. That's a joke us doctors always use at a time like this.
Very funny, too. But you get unpacked and I'll contact the Brewster.
Chief, Mr. and Mrs. Brewster are here.
Hello, Melbourne. John, Edith, congratulations. I heard about the baby.
Oh, thank you.
Come on over and sit down, little mother.
Mr. Drysdale, we're adopting the baby.
Yes, I know. Sit down. Oh, I got some marvelous news for you. You too, John. Sit down.
Hi, Melbourne. Well, what is it?
I have solved your biggest problem for you.
Really? What's that?
Yes, I've gotten you a baby nurse.
Oh, Chief.
I would like this door and your mouth kept closed.
Melbourne, that's very nice of you, but we're not going to have a baby nurse.
What?
Now, Edith wants to take care of the baby herself.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it.
But this is my gift to you, my surprise gift. Oh, Granny will be awfully disappointed.
Granny?
That's the surprise part.
You don't mean Granny Clampett.
The little hillbilly woman?
What makes you think she's a hillbilly?
I was the one who found the Clampetts, remember? They were living in a shack so far back in the woods that Granny had to make her own soap out of lye and possum fat.
John, since then they have spent 4 years living in a mansion in Beverly Hills.
Howdy, Mr. Brewster.
Dad?
Congratulations. Mr. Drysdale told us about the new boarder that's a-coming.
Well, thank you, Mr. Clampett.
You must be a happy man. Where's Miss Brewster?
She's at home getting the nursery ready.
Well, you tell her not to bother about a cradle. Minute we heard the good news, I dug this one up. Been in the family a lot of years. Last baby to use it was Jethro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the reason I'm putting in some more slats. Jethro gnawed right through a couple of them.
Baby did this?
Funny thing about Jethro, he was born with a full set of teeth, just like a beaver.
That's incredible.
Jethro went to eating right off. Since he was 3 months old, he sat at the table and matched the grown-ups jowl for jowl.
Well, Edith and I appreciate your interest in the baby, Mr. Clampett, and Mr. Drysdale told us how he has Granny all lined up.
Oh, yeah, she's looking forward to it. She's out back right now making baby soap.
Yes. Yes, well, you thank her for us, but...
Now, it's us that's beholden to you. We was poor as folks could get till you bought our oil.
Well...
Why, till you come along, we was living mostly on pawpaws and high wind.
Well, getting back to Granny helping with the baby, you tell her that Edith has decided to do it all herself.
What didn't you say?
No, she wants it that way.
I heard about that back in the hills, but ain't that kind of unusual for a city woman?
Yes, it is, and I'm very proud of her. Well,
Oh, Mr. Brewster, I gotta admit, your wife's mighty spunky, but this being her first young'un, hadn't she better have Granny around?
well, let's let Edith try it her way. She's been reading books, attending classes and lectures, and...
Well, that's all well and good, but I'd have her talk to Granny. You can't beat 50, 60 years of experience.
No. Well, I'll pass that along to Edith.
Oh, by the way, when is the young one due to arrive?
Well, we don't know yet. We're waiting for somebody to tell us.
Have you seen that? Is that Mr. Brewster driving away?
Yep.
How soon are they going to need my help?
They need it right now, but they don't want it.
Don't want it. Do you mean that Mr. Drysdale pulled us off that train for nothing?
Now, hold on, Granny. It wasn't his fault. Mrs. Brewster got it into her head that she's going to have this baby all by herself.
That little pampered city woman.
She's been reading books and such, and she figures she can handle it.
When's it due?
They're waiting for somebody to tell them.
I better get over there and see her right away. Where's Jethro?
He went flying out here on the truck a little while ago.
That's suet brain. I'm gonna smoke his haunches till he can sit in the tub and heat his own bathwater. Mark my words, Jed. He's chasing after them kitty cats again.
I don't think he can without a key.
Dear sir, this is to advise you that on...
Excuse me, Mr. Drysdale. Here's your key back.
Oh, why don't you keep it, Jethro?
Oh, I don't need it. I'm opening up my own club, the Possum Pen.
What?
Jethro.
I'm going around collecting the most beautiful girls in town. Can I borrow Miss Jane?
Oh, Jethro, why would you want me?
To drive your car. My truck's full. Well, then could you do me another favor? Here, kitty cats. Reckon you can change these kitty costumes into possums?
No, thank you.
Are you serious about this?
I sure am. And I told the girls I'd double their pay. Yeah.
You can't do that.
Who says he can't?
She does.
Gee, sure you're not afraid of a girl.
Of course not. Come on, either one of you.
Sorry, Mr. Drysdale. I don't want nothing to happen to my kitty cats. I mean, possums.
You mean chickens?
Hey, that looks dandy. Pink and blue, huh?
Well, we don't know whether it's going to be a girl or a boy.
This way we can just untie the collar it ain't.
Well, speaking of the proud parents-to-be, come in, come
Thank
in.
you, Mr. Clampett.
I'm happy to see you.
Well, thank you, Granny.
Congratulations.
Ellie Mae.
We got your cradle all ready for you.
Cradle.
Yes, dear, this fine old cradle has been in the Clampett family for years. They're going to let us use it.
Jethro was the last baby in it.
This here was his rattle.
And this was the cowbell we used to tie around his neck so he wouldn't get lost.
When Jethro was a baby, he used to crawl off into the woods a lot, looking for food.
Well, Jethro was born with a full set of teeth there, just like a beaver. Well, I will just take this cradle out and put it in the car.
I'll give you a hand.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Ellie, you go outside with the men folks. I want to have a little talk with Miss Brewster.
Yes, Granny.
Edith, Jed tells me that according to your husband, you want to take care of everything yourself when the baby comes.
Oh, yes, I do. I've been reading books and going to classes and lectures, and I feel I'm ready for John Jr.
John Jr. Want a boy, huh?
Well, it's what John wants, so that's what we decided on.
You decided?
Yes, we're going to pick him up at 3 o'clock.
Pick him up?
At the Beverly Hills baby service.
The Beverly Hills baby service?
Yes, I thought you knew all about this.
Honey, it ain't me that don't know. Why don't you take your coat off and be comfortable? You and me got a lot to talk about.
I don't really have much time.
Darling, do you know what we forgot? The baby basket.
You're right, we did.
Baby basket?
Yes, to put our boy in. We're going to go get him at 3 o'clock.
Uh-huh. From that Beverly Hills baby service.
That's right.
Oh, John, I'm so excited. I can't believe the big moment is almost here.
I know just how you feel, sweetheart. We waited a long time for this day.
Oh, yes.
Well, come on, let's get the basket and go pick up the baby.
Oh, I hope we won't have to stand in line.
We won't. All we have to do is give him the money.
Hold it.
Oh? Didn't you finish your advice to Edith?
Didn't even get started. Both of you better sit down.
We haven't time for that now, Granny.
No, we'll stop on our way home and show you John Jr. Goodbye, Granny. Goodbye, Miss Clement.
See you later.
So long.
Where are they going in such a hurry?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Try me.
They're going to a baby store to buy a baby.
You're right, I don't believe you.
Jed, it beats anything I ever heard. How folks can get to be their age and still be green as grass.
We're going to try to straighten them out?
Don't worry, they'll be back with a broken heart. Then is when they's gonna need us.
Pop, Jethro's back, and wait till you see what he's got with him this time.
What in tarnation?
Uncle Jed, I couldn't find no possum outfits, but we can still have a key club. We'll call it the Haunted House, and these girls will be spooks. Granny, you were supposed to be over at the Brewsters. We can't have a swinging key club with you around.
Jed, you'll have to take care of this. I gotta figure out some way to help them poor Brewsters. Come on, Ellie. I got a notion stirring.
What do you think, Uncle Jed? You ain't saying nothing.
That ain't easy.
The whole thing was Miss Jane's idea. She rounded up the girls and everything. Woo! She's my head spook.
I contrived this notion to keep an eye on the dear boy.
Miss Jane, can I see what the girls look like now without their shades on?
Of course. All right, girls, take them off.
All right, that's enough. Put them back on. Everybody back in the truck.
All right, Ellie, come on, fetch it in.
Granny, I just seen the Brewsters come through the gate.
Good, we got it just in time. Come on, Ellie.
You got a what?
It's a baby for the Brewsters.
You got a what?
Kid, they's all built up to hear the patter of little feet in that nursery.
Well, Granny says they got to have something to love and fuss over.
At least until I can explain a few things to them.
And you got him a baby?
Well, not exactly, but it's as close as we could come. I'm cute.
Well, yeah, he's cute, all right, but I don't hardly think they're going to be satisfied with this.
Well, it's better than coming home with an empty basket.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen, Mr. Brewster.
Cheer up, folks. We got you something to put in your basket.
Here it is. Don't let him near the baby.
Baby?
What dog is it did get a baby? Look at there.
That's John Jr.
Oh, isn't he beautiful?
Handsome, dear. Handsome, not beautiful.
And you got him at the Beverly Hills baby service?
That's right. And we've got our order in for 3 more.
Well, we wanted you to have the first look. Come on, dear.
I'll see you to the door.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be back later for that advice, Granny.
Forget it, honey. Just let me borrow some of them books you've been reading.
What books, Granny?
I don't know. But as soon as I read them, you and me's gonna have a long talk.
Well, we don't have a long talk.
I know. But it appears things have moved ahead considerable since my day.
By doggies, it sure pleases me to see you taking a hold in the kitchen like this.
Well, thank you, Pop.
What you making?
I'm stirring up a cake.
All by yourself?
Well, yes, sir. Granny said it's high time I was learning, because this is the way to a man's heart.
It's right as rain. You know, when it comes to getting a husband, the best spooning is done in the kitchen.
Well, I done beating the batter. You want to lick the spoon?
I do for a fact. Yes, sir. Good cooking is just about as important as good looking. Yes, sir, when a girl as pretty as you can whip up a cake batter like this, got a lot of life to it, don't it?
Thank you.
Maybe you better beat this a little more. I don't think you quite broke its spirit.
Ed,
Yeah, Granny?
we have got to do something about Jethro before he drives me to an early grave.
What's he done now?
He was in the kitchen here underfoot, eating everything he could get his hand to. And to give him something to do, I told him to crack me a basket of walnuts.
Ain't he doing it?
Oh, he's doing it. But wait till you see how. See what I mean?
That rascal is using my slow-time grain mill.
He's getting bone lazy, Jed. It's time he learned a trade, like barrel making or blacksmithing.
Seems a shame for a boy with 6 years of schooling to do hand labor. Must be some way we can put all that education to work.
He can't make up his mind what he wants to be. One day it's a rocket scientist, and the next day it's a fry cook.
Well, that's his brain and his stomach fighting it out.
Mark my words, his stomach will win.
I don't know. He's got a brain for figures. I ain't ever seen anybody could cipher like that boy.
Here's your cracked walnuts, Granny.
Cracked? You mean powdered.
What are you chattering about?
You're probably the biggest nut he's ever seen.
Jethro, cipher something. Show Granny how good you are.
Okay. Well, what do you want? Times or Gazinta?
Well, let's have some gazintas.
Okay. 5 Gazinta 5 once, 5 Gazinta 10 twice, 5 Gazinta 15 3 times, 5 Gazinta 20 4 times. That's as high as I can go anyway, without my tablet.
You done fine, boy.
I still say, where's he going to use all that highfalutin education?
Well, there's Mr. Drysdale's bank. They do a heap of ciphering down there.
Oh, wouldn't that be a blessing?
What are you all talking about?
Well, we think you ought to get a job.
At the bank? I kind of lean towards being a fry cook. They get all they want to eat.
See?
I'll tell you what, Jethro, you have a talk with Mr. Drysdale. Let fly with a few of them gazintas. He might have a place for you.
Excuse me, Chief. Mr. Marvin Bagby is here for his appointment.
Oh, yes. Jethro, show Miss Hathaway some of your amazing ciphering.
Oh, well, Chief, I've seen it.
I've done some Gazintas for her, but I ain't times nothing.
Yes, time something.
Okay. 1 times 1 is 1.
In her office. Are you Mr. Marvin Bagby?
I prefer the name by which I am known the world over. Marvo the Magnificent.
Dog, you're a magician.
Greatest in the world, my boy. There, my boy. Treasured. You are Mr. Drysdale, I presume.
That's right. Sit down.
Thank you. Your bank has been highly recommended. I wish to arrange a loan.
Well, no problem if you have collateral.
I am temporarily between engagements. However, I expect to hear from my agent at any moment.
Sorry, Mr. Bagney. My bank can't make you an unsecured loan.
Unsecured? My dear moneylender, I have a warehouse full of priceless professional paraphernalia.
Sorry.
It is worth conservatively $100,000. I only want to borrow 50.
50,000?
$50.
It's not even worth that to my bank. Now, why don't you take it out of the warehouse and sell it?
A magician does not sell the secrets that have brought him fame and fortune. Besides, there's a little matter of 10 years backstory.
In other words, you haven't worked in 10 years.
Not on the stage, no. But I've sold aluminum awnings and stole mufflers. My most recent position was at a car wash. Wait, Mr. Drysdale. Be merciful, man. I haven't the price of a meal.
Well, just pull a rabbit out of your hat and eat it.
Fortunately, I consumed the last one some weeks ago.
Oh, by the way, who recommended this bank to you?
The bank down the street.
Miss Hathaway, bring your book, please.
Mr. Drysdale, I've done times plumb through the 8s. Have you decided where you want me to work?
Not yet, Jethro, but we'll have something for you in a week or so.
You want me to wait here?
No, you can go home.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Marvel,
What is it, boy?
whereabouts can I go to see your magic act?
Might be able to show you 1 feet of legerdemain here and now. You have a 50-cent piece.
No, sir, but I got a quarter.
It will do. Watch closely. Now you see it. Now you don't.
How about that? Hey, can I see another one?
Have you another coin?
No, sir, but if you come up to the house, we got plenty there.
No, thank you, lad.
Yeah, but my Uncle Jed, he is just crazy about magicians. Well, I bet you he'd pay to see your whole act.
I doubt if he can afford it.
He's got $50 million.
He has what?
$50 million right here in this bank. Just ask the cashier.
Perhaps he can afford it.
Who's that grand-looking gentleman?
Uncle Jed, that there is Marvo the Magnificent, world's greatest magician.
What did you say?
Oh, no, sir. Throw it right on his suitcase. Uncle Jed, I'd like for you to meet Mr. Marvo the Magnificent.
How do you do, sir?
My dog is Mr. Magnificent. Who'd have thought I'd be shaking hands with a real honest-to-goodness magician?
Pleasure is mine, sir. Hey, that's a beautiful scarf you have there. Where? Why, right here in your pocket.
Well, I'll be doggone.
Ain't that something? Did you see that?
I did for a fact.
One moment, Jethro. I believe there's something in your ear. Ah, yes, here we are.
Jed, he pulled that egg right out of my ear.
I see it, boy. That beats all.
You haven't seen anything yet.
He's going to put on a whole show for you.
No.
Yes, sir. We stopped by, picked up his suitcase full of magic stuff. Had a dickens of a time getting out of the hotel. He had to lower it down to me from his window.
Yes. The management of my hotel asked that I not remove my suitcase by way of the lobby. People see my name on it, crowds gather, clamoring for me to perform.
That's the truth, Uncle Jed. As we was pulling away, a fella come running out of the hotel, waving and yelling, come back with that suitcase.
Such is the price of fame.
Here now, look at me, keeping you standing around out here. I'm plumb ashamed. Come on inside.
Jed, Riddles is... Who's this goomer?
Get ready for a big thrill. This here...
Uncle Jed, let me do it. I found him. Ready? This here is Marvo the Magnificent.
Magnificent what?
Magician.
Magician?
World's greatest.
Says so right here.
John, madam.
Don't you turn me into nothing.
Oh, he wouldn't do that.
Can you pull a rabbit out of your hat? I seen a magician do that at the county fair once.
Granny, we've been keeping him standing out here for a long time. Now, he's going to do a whole show for us later.
Is he?
Yep.
Would you like to have a bite to eat with us first?
Madam, I'd be delighted.
But now, don't get your hopes up too high. It ain't likely to be as fancy as you're used to. We just simple folks. What are we having, Granny?
Turnip greens, sow belly, and pot liquor.
Can you believe that? Jethro fetches you home out of the blue, and it's the one day we's having company victuals.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For my first feat of leisure domain, I shall... Oh, dear. This is the wrong handkerchief. I never have liked polka dots.
You see what that rascal done?
He's something else.
Pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Observe, ladies and gentlemen. I have fashioned a drinking cup out of an ordinary piece of paper. I shall now fill it with milk and quench my thirst. Oh, I've changed my mind.
He made that milk just disappear.
I wish I could do that.
You do that every meal, and quicker.
I should do another stunt.
Pull a rabbit out of your hat.
For my next astounding presentation, I shall require the services of my gorgeous young assistant.
Down, Jethro. He ain't talking about you.
Well, he sure ain't talking about you.
Yes,
He ain't neither.
Yes.
He ain't.
Jethro, girls first, then you can have your turn.
My compliments, young lady.
Hey, did y'all see that?
Sure did, Ellie. That rascal's a world beater, ain't he?
I'll say.
Look, I think he's fixing to pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Observe, ladies and gentlemen, an ordinary top hat. Now, with the assistance of this lovely young lady, I shall make a cake.
Did he say a cake?
Yeah, and he sure picked the wrong assistant for that.
The ingredients, if you please. Flour and sugar. Butter. Milk. And eggs.
He's gonna ruin that hat.
Get himself a sorry cake in the bargain.
Stir the batter, please.
Well, if you say so.
Here. Now you may remove the cake.
But there ain't no cake in there. Well, there's just a big old mess of... Look, it's bad.
That's a better looking cake than she took out of the oven.
Yeah. Ought to get her a hat to cook in.
When's he gonna pull a rabbit out of that thing?
Granny, it's my turn to be his assistant.
For our next excursion into the realm of magic,
Okay, Ellie, you can sit down now. I'm going to help him.
you, Jethro,
Yes, sir. You know, Mr. Marvel, I've been sitting out there watching you, and I done made up my mind. You're what I'm going to be.
I beg your pardon.
It beats working at the bank, brain surgeon, double knot spying, streetcar conducting, or anything.
What does?
Being a magician, like you. Jethro the Magnificent.
An admirable ambition, my boy, but magic is an art which requires a great deal of skill and knowledge.
Oh, I'm full clean up to here with knowledge. I done graduated 6th grade. Yeah.
Well, of course, the most important thing is the equipment. Very difficult to get. Very expensive.
Heck, fire. My Uncle Jed's got millions. Well, he could buy me a whole warehouse full of stuff.
Yes, good. Indeed.
Come on, let's have a show.
Pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Please, Mr. Marvel, just give me a chance to show you how good I can be.
Very well, my boy. This will be your test. And now, ladies and gentlemen, With the aid of my brilliant young assistant, I shall cause this vessel of solid metal to vanish before your eyes. And to make it even more difficult, I shall first fill it with water.
No, it ain't, Mr. Marvel. It is hooked to this here train.
That's the best trick yet.
Jethro's a natural for that magic stuff.
How'd that do, Mr. Marvel?
You're a natural, my boy. I think I know where your Uncle Jed can buy that warehouse full of equipment.
I'm gonna be a magician!
Well, good. Maybe the two of you together can pull a rabbit out of that dad-blasted hat.
Oh, Mr. Marvel, look at all this stuff. What is it?
I will explain, my boy. This is the magic cabinet of the beautiful maiden.
Hot dog. There ain't no beautiful maiden in here.
That's the magic pot. This cabinet can produce one.
Oh, go on. You're greening me.
Observe. An empty cabinet. Right? Now I'll turn it around for your benefit.
Okay, now what?
Watch closely. Beautiful maiden, sweet and fair, materialize from out of the air.
Oh, man. Can I learn to do that?
If your uncle buys the equipment.
Oh, he will, he will. I guarantee it. Why, this thing alone is worth the money.
Very well, we will test your skill. Into your hand I place the magic wand. About your shoulders, the sorcerer's mantle. And upon your head, the wizard's crown.
All ready now?
You are indeed ready.
Okay, let me see if I remember what to say. Oh, yeah. A beautiful maiden, sweet and fair moment. Come to me from out of the air. Yeah! Uncle Jed, write the check. I'm a magician. Uncle Jed, write the check.
Quickly, girls. Wait for me in the taxi outside the gate. You will be handsomely rewarded.
Mr. Drysdale?
Mr. Clampett, come in, come in. Get up, let Mr. Clampett sit down.
No. Matter of fact, Mr. Drysdale, I think you better sit down.
Me?
Yeah, I got some awful bad news for you.
Bad news?
Now, try to get a hold of yourself. Jethro ain't a-coming to work for you.
You ain't?
No, the boy is going into the show business. He's going to be a magician in vaudeville.
Jethro?
Going to call himself Jethro the Magnificent. Bought that name, some fancy clothes, and a whole warehouse full of magic stuff from a fella called Marvo.
Marvel, the Magnificent?
Oh, well, Chief, that's the man who's...
I know.
World's greatest magician. Nice fella, too. Sold me $100,000 worth of stuff for half price.
50,000 down the drain.
My golly, I didn't think he'd take losing Jethro so hard. Well, now, I'll tell you what. You'll come up to the house, and I'll have him put on a magic show for you. Cheer you right up.
Where did Ellie get that costume?
Come in the trunk with the magic stuff. But it looks like some of it done disappeared.
Now I present to you Jethro the Magnificent.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For my first fee to Lay Germain. Got the wrong handkerchief. I never did like polka dots. Don't mind them for a little while. For my next magic trick, I am going to pull a rabbit out of this here hat.
Now you're talking.
Oh, the next trick, Jethro. I got to work on this one some more.
Ladies and gentlemen, that there is such a good trick, I'm going to save it till last. And now, I am going to produce a cake from my hat. I mean, if I can borrow a hat from the audience.
My hat's got a hole in it. Can you borrow yours?
Of course, delighted.
Here I, Jethro.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you see this trick, Mr. Drysdale? It's a humdinger.
Now, my assistant will step through those curtains and take from that hat a cake.
Here, Jethro, hold the rat. It didn't bake.
Now, my next trick. Ladies and gentlemen, things ain't going just perfect up till now, but this here trick will make up for it. Beautiful maiden, sweet and fair, come to me from out of the air.
Miss Jane! I almost made it. Oh, nuts!
Cheer up, Mr. Drysdale. You might have lost a hat, but you gained a good hired hand for your bank.
Come on, lazy bones, get moving.
Granny, it's too early for spring house cleaning.
Tain't neither. Sun's putting me rough.
I mean, it ain't even spring yet.
I decide when it's spring around here. Now I want every stick of furniture out on that lawn.
All 32 rooms?
That's right. Out where the fresh air and sunshine can get to them. Where's Jed and Ellie?
I don't know, but I wish I was with them.
Quick, Paul, let's skedaddle. Granny started spring house cleaning. She's done called Jethro.
Wait a minute, it ain't spring.
Well, she moved it up on us again. Better hurry. Jethro's toting out the first load.
I gotta do something to stop that little woman from killing herself and us in the bargain, trying to clean this big house the way she done the cabin.
What time did you bang the door at 6 o'clock in the morning? I'm coming! You are Mr. Clampett, and it's wonderful to see you. Come in.
I'm sorry, it looks like I got you out of bed.
Me? Don't be silly. I've been up for hours. Why, it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I figured even city folks couldn't lay in bed no longer than that.
No. This is the best part of the day. Fellas full of energy and vitality. Mind is sharp. Sit down. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, Mr. Drysdale, I'll tell you. You see, back in the hills, things would stay pretty well closed up all winter. So come spring house cleaning time, we tote everything outside in the sunshine and fresh air, and Granny would scrub the place down from... Oh, what happened? He was concentrating again.
Oh, yes. Continue.
Well, cut through the cloth and get right to the cheese. It ain't likely we're going to change Granny's ways at her age, so I figured the thing for us to do is get a small house somewhere and move.
Move?
Yeah, some little place out in the country that Granny can keep up without too much work.
Now, please, Mr. Clampett, you can't move. It'll break my bank. Heart, your friends, neighbors.
Yeah, you and your missus are fine neighbors. Us city folks go. But what Granny needs is some country women around. Somebody her own age to talk to. Somebody you can have quilting bees with, molasses stir-offs, hog rendering.
Now, listen, Mr. Clampett. At this moment, my wife is in New York buying some gowns. But as soon as she gets back, I'm sure she'll want to have Granny over for a hog rendering and a quilting stir-off.
Molasses?
No, I mean it.
Mr. Drysdale, you're a fine fella, but I have got to get Granny out of that mansion. It's just too much housework.
Well, now, you just leave everything to me, Mr. Clampett.
Uncle Jet, I'm glad you're back. Granny's been driving me into the ground.
Well, cheer up, boy. Mr. Drysdale and me is working on this.
You're working. I done all this, and I got 27 rooms to go.
I mean, we've been working on ways to stop all this furniture moving.
I got a way. Let's set fire to it.
I think we can best that. Sit down. Now, I got a plan. But first, we gotta prime Granny a mite.
What you mean?
Well, we gotta make her think that she's getting a little bit too old for all this heavy work.
I see.
And we gotta be real sly about it. Just the slightest little hint, and she'll take the bait and run with it.
Well, I catch you on. Smart. Use our heads.
That's right. Now, I'll go let Ellie in on it. Now, remember, when you see Granny, just nudge her with the notion that you have seen her looking a mite spryer.
You can count on me, Uncle Jed.
Jethro, get in here.
I'm coming, Granny.
Take this out next.
Okay. Holy smoke, you look awful.
What?
You are ready for the boneyard. I ain't never seen anybody look so miserable.
No face smudged or something?
No, it ain't no smudge. It's your skin.
You mean I'm commencing to show my age, you might?
You'll never live to be as old as you look.
My skin's all brown and wrinkled. Oh, I'm looking in the back.
Don't look in the front. That'll really scare you.
Look that old?
I seen one thing look older, but it had moss growing on it.
Say, Granny, how long ago was this here spinning wheel made?
Oh, that's got to be at least 150 years old.
What'd you use before you got this?
What?
Sorry, Granny.
Just a minute. How old do you think I am?
I don't know. How old are you?
I don't know neither, for sure.
Well, I know how you can tell.
How?
Well, just find out how old the Hills are, because everybody says you're as old as them.
Jed, do you know for sure how old I am?
Well, no, Granny, but it ought to be easy to find out. Just write home to somebody your own age. Let's see, now there's, no, he's gone. How about, no, she went to her reward years ago. Must be somebody still around. Tell you what, I'll study on it, Granny. In the meantime, you better get cracking. You got 32 rooms to scrub down.
Jed, maybe I had ought to put off spring house cleaning for a spell.
Put it off.
Well, I did jump the gun a mite. It ain't really spring yet.
True.
In fact, I think I'll rest for a little bit. Right now.
Good idea.
Where have you been? Why aren't you ever around when I need you?
Chief, I got here as quickly as possible. I was in bed when you called.
In bed.
Well, it was 6 a.m.
At 6 a.m., I was already having my first conference.
Really?
Yes. That's why I'm president of the bank, and you're just the secretary. I'm up with the chickens, and you sleep all day.
Chief, it is 6:30.
All right. You can work late tonight and make it up. Now, here's the situation. Jed Clampett thinks Granny's working too hard. So he wants to move to a smaller home in the country.
A very sensible idea, and you want me to look for one?
No, I want you to look for a new job.
I don't understand.
I'll say you don't. I don't have a bank in the country.
Well, Chief, just because they moved doesn't mean they've moved their money.
Miss Hathaway, we don't take chances with $50 million. I want them right next door where I can keep an eye on them.
Well, in that case, there's only one solution. We'll have to get someone to do the work for Granny.
Now you're talking. Grab a scrub bucket and get over there. Well, you know Granny doesn't like strangers around.
But, Chief, I am a highly skilled executive secretary. I'm not paid to do housework.
Yes, you're right. Okay. While you're there, you'll be on half salary.
Oh, yeah, Jed, I'm rested now. I'm going to get up.
No, stay right where you are. I want to talk to you.
What about?
Well, Granny, I think it's time you faced the fact that this house is too much for you.
It is a powerful burden. But then I'm used to work, Jed. I've never knowed nothing else.
Well, that's just it. You've earned a rest.
That's not for me, Jed. My rest will come when they lay me in that pine box.
Well, I got an idea where we could get you some rest before then.
I'd like to know how.
Well, first off, we got to get you out of this 32-room backbreaker.
Where would I go?
Well, Granny, somewhere out in the country, there's a home just waiting for you.
In the country?
Yeah, someplace where you don't have to work so hard, where you got friendly neighbors, folks your own age to talk to.
Jed, you're fixing to send me to the old folks' homes.
No, I ain't.
Yes, you are.
I ain't neither.
Yes, you are.
Granny, I ain't no such a thing.
You swear it?
I swear.
Yes, you are. Jethro! Jethro! Save me, Jethro, save me.
From what?
Your Uncle Jed wants to send me to the old folks' home.
Granny.
Oh, so that's the plan you was getting her primed for.
No, it ain't.
Yes, it is. I slowed down 1 year, and you're going to throw me on the scrap heap.
Well, you're awful old, Granny.
Boy.
And you're not just over the hill, you're down in the holler.
Jethro.
How's that for hitting Uncle Jed?
Boy, go get the truck. We're going to take Granny out in the country.
No, Jed, please.
Granny, I just want to show you what I got in mind.
I don't want to see it. I'm too young to go to the old folks' home.
Are you kidding?
Get the truck.
Please, Jed, please give me another chance. I'll clean the whole house all by myself.
Now, Granny.
I'll show you. I'm just as spry as I ever
Found her, Pop.
I wish...
She's awful stove up.
I don't want her. She mopped the whole downstairs.
And all the sidewalks she could get at.
She mopped around the cement pond. Yonder she lies.
Wore the mop clean down to a nub.
I'm as spry as I ever was, Jed.
Sure you are, Granny.
I can't get her fingers loose from the mop.
There go her legs again.
Her legs, Ellie. Now, let go of the mop, Granny.
Make me some suds. I'll come in on upstairs.
Take it easy. Ellie Mae, you stay here and take care of her. Jethro and me will go out in the country and see if we can find it.
No, Jed. Ain't I showed you I can still earn my keep?
Well, that's just it, Granny. You can't keep on working this hard.
Yes, I can. I got my second wind. I'll come in on upstairs.
Now, easy does it.
No, Jed, don't send me away.
Nobody wants to send you away, Granny. We're just looking for a little place where we can all move in.
I don't believe you.
It looks like it's going to take showing her. Go put her on the truck. Yes, Jethro, fetch her.
No, no.
We'll never catch her now.
She's done made it to the heavy brush.
Keep in, Duke, and track her down. Jethro and me will head for the country and scout out a place or two to show her.
Yes, sir, Pop.
Oh, here's Mr. Drysdale.
Why aren't you up in the Clampets helping with the house cleaning?
Let me explain. A, I am not qualified. B, it would be only a temporary solution. And C, I was able to get Mrs. Mack here, who comes highly recommended.
Baloney. A strange woman like that wouldn't last 5 minutes. Now send her back where she came from, and you get up there and you start help.
Who you calling strange?
Please.
I didn't mean strange. I meant stranger. You see, the Clampets are very unusual people, and I just don't think you could please them.
No.
On the other hand, of course, with your winning ways and sweet personality. Miss Hathaway, take this lovely lady up to the Clampets and see that she's made welcome.
I'll certainly do my best, Chief.
Don't fail. I hold you personally responsible for her happiness and well-being.
That old hound dog will never see the day he can find this old fox.
Oh, that's strange. The place seems deserted. I'll tell you what, you wait here and I'll go upstairs and see if I can find Granny.
Who are you? Ma'am?
Mrs. Mack, who are you?
I'm Granny.
Oh, you're the one they're looking for.
Yeah, they're going to send me away. But I'll show them that I can still clean this house.
Oh, no, that's my job now.
Why?
I'm the new housekeeper.
They didn't even give me a chance. Well, you tell them that they ain't gonna put me in no old folks' home. I'm leaving. And they'll never see me again. They'll just find my bleached bones out on the desert where I died from hunger and thirst. Well, hunger anyway. Hold them doors open, soldier. Coming in to get my money.
Well, yes, Margaret, of course I'm happy to have you back home. But I'm busy now, dear. My secretary is gone. I'll call you back, sweetheart. Of course I do. Hello. Miss Hathaway. Why aren't you back here where you belong?
Well, Chief, I'm afraid there's a crisis here at the Clampetts. Mrs. Mack took one look at the size of this house and quit. Now we have to find another housekeeper.
I just found her. Get busy with that scrub bucket. Granny, what can I do for you?
You can put my share of Jed's money in that wheelbarrow. I'm going back home to the hills to be laid away.
What?
I was going to die on the desert, and then I decided I'd go back home and be buried proper. Come on, load it up.
But, Granny, your share of Mr. Clampett's money would come to almost $13 million.
Yeah. That ought to buy me one humdinger of a funeral.
Granny, you're just a little tired. Why don't I let Perkins drive you back up to the house, eh?
No, you won't. They want to get rid of me.
Who does?
Jed and the young'uns. I give them the best years of my life. And now they're throwing me on the scrap heap.
Surely not.
Yeah. I'm just a poor old worn-out bag of bones.
I can't believe that.
It's true. My own kinfolks don't want me. Just 'cause I slowed up a little and I can't clean the house like I used to.
Well, that's ridiculous. I just wish I had someone like you to clean my house.
You do?
You bet.
You got me. Call your wife and tell her I'll be right over.
Right?
This will prove to Jed that I ain't ready for the boneyard.
But...
I'll clean that house of yours till it shines like a bright new penny.
But...
Call Miss Drysdale. Tell her to commence toting the stuff outside. Have her set it in the front yard so it'll get plenty of fresh air and sunshine. I'll be over there in a jiffy.
No, Granny, wait. On second thought, I think that... No, what I mean is...
What you mean is that you don't need me neither. Come on, load that up. I'm going back to my final resting.
Now, Granny, you didn't let me finish. What I meant was I need you here more than I do at home.
In the bank?
Yes, yeah, of course. You see, with Miss Hathaway away, I'm up to my ears. There's the phone and no one to answer it.
Oh, you poor man. Hello, Mr. Drysdale's office, Secretary Granny speaking. Oh, howdy, Miss Drysdale. Your husband was just telling me how bad your house needs cleaning.
No, wait! Margaret, I told you I'd call you back. Yes, I'll explain everything when I get home, dear. Now, please, I told you I did. Well, all right.
Shame on you. Flirting with your new secretary already.
Nothing, dear. I'll explain it all later.
Duke and me's covered that hall in more ways than a kraut lays in a barrel. Never did pick up Granny's trail again.
Likely she circled back.
Oh, poor old Duke's plumb ashamed of himself.
You can leave my wheelbarrow out there, Perkins.
Thank you, madam.
It won't take me long to change and pack up. Sit down. There's plenty of chairs. Or lay down. There's plenty of beds.
Oh, Granny, I'm so glad you're back. I'm afraid I'm not very good at your job.
Well, I'm a cracker jack at yours.
What?
Mr. Drysdale just made me his new secretary. I am now what you call a career girl.
You are what you call potted. Give me that jug.
I ain't the kind of a girl that drinks on the job.
What's this nonsense about you getting a job?
Well, it beats getting put into the old folks' home.
I keep telling you, we ain't putting you in the old folks' home.
You bet you ain't, Charlie. I'm moving into my own apartment. Mr. Drysdale, your secretary's back.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, where is she?
Right here.
Oh, I thought you meant Miss Hathaway had come back.
Oh, she's got my old job. Well, let's get to work.
Granny.
None of that. Don't let this dress make you forget you're a married man.
Granny, I've got a lot of papers to get out.
Well, let's hop to it.
Do you know how to type?
I can learn.
Press the button.
Am I typing?
Yeah. I'll get the phone in my office.
Yonder she says.
Well, I'll be doggone.
She wasn't fooling.
You folks have an appointment?
Miss Hathaway, just hurry down here. I'll figure out something to do with Granny. Now, please, I need you.
Mr. Drysdale?
Mr. Clampett, come in.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for giving Granny a job. It sure has perked her up.
My pleasure. Oh, she's wonderful. Matter of fact, she's due for a promotion.
What didn't you say? Granny, did you hear that? Mrs. Drysdale's giving you a promotion.
That's right, Granny. I'm moving you up to an office on top of the whole building.
What'll I do up there?
You'll be vice president in charge of the whole building.
Well, doggies.
You heard me. The whole building. Everything out. Keep it moving. You know, Ellie, I'm glad company is coming. We don't get much chance to use this fancy eating room.
No, Jethro and Paul uses most to play what you call pool. I don't see much sport in it myself.
Well, what can you expect from a game that you play on the dining room table?
You reckon I ought to set 8 places? Is it for sure Miss Flat and Miss Scruggs is a-coming?
Well, we know that Lester's bringing his wife, but we don't know for sure about Earl. But you better set a place for Louise, just in case.
Yes, ma'am. Where about you want Jethro's place?
Put him up at the end yonder there. When he goes to eating, I don't want the company in bruising range of his elbows.
How's it going, girl?
Jed, why ain't you on your way to the airport? You're going to be late picking up Lester and Earl.
Well, according to Jethro, we got plenty of time. He says he's got a new way to get there.
I wouldn't trust no shortcut if that eating machine picked it out.
Well, this ain't no shortcut. He says he got something new he put on the truck.
What is it, Paul?
I don't know yet, Ellie. I think he wants to surprise me with it. But he says it's going to be a real time saver.
This here's a surprise I've been working on.
Looks kind of like a windmill.
I call it my traffic jam jumper. Hop in, I'll show you how it works.
Well, now, boy, we don't want to be late meeting Lester and Earl's plane.
That's where this rascal's gonna come in handy. Suppose we was driving down the freeway, and there's a big traffic jam up ahead. We don't sit there and fret and fume.
What do we do?
Throw this out of gear, throw this into gear, give this a yank. Here we go.
We're leaving the ground.
That's the whole idea. We just fly right on over that traffic jam.
He's up in the air, all right, but how do we move ahead?
Guess I forgot to figure that out.
Did you figure out how we get down?
see?
Well, other than that, what do you think of it?
I'll tell you later. Right now, I got to get somebody out to that airport.
Oh, Ralph, I haven't been able to find Mr. Drysdale. Will you tell him I have to rush out and do something for the Clampetts, and I'll explain when I get back. I hope it isn't too breezy back there, Mrs. Platt.
Oh, no. I was all prepared to ride in the Clampetts' truck. This is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, mighty nice of you, too, Miss Hathaway.
Yes, ma'am. We sure do appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm a great fan of your music. Unfortunately, I don't get to hear you very often.
I tell you what, we'll be doing a couple of numbers as soon as we get to Jed's place.
Yeah, Granny always makes us sing for her supper.
You're sure invited for listening and, like as not, eating, too.
Oh, I wish I could accept, but I'm afraid I have to dash right back to the office.
Oh. Well, why don't you boys do a number 4 right now?
How about it, Lester?
Oh, that would be an imposition. I couldn't ask you to perform in an open car.
We played in worse places.
And for smaller audiences.
Margaret, I've asked you not to call me on this car telephone. It's for business. All right, dear. What have the Clampetts done now? Saw them where? What? In their what? Margaret, trucks do not flop. All right, dear, go back to your bridge club. I'll do something about it. I'll get her a new psychiatrist. Talk about obsessions. Now she thinks those hillbillies hover in the air. Oh. Get me Crestview 67399.
How about you girls joining in?
Well, I'm game if you are.
Lester doesn't think I'm much of a singer.
Now, Gladys, I never said that.
Well, why don't you let me go out on the road with you and perform then?
Well, darling, that's because you don't sing her kind of song.
If you let me sing my kind of...
Here we go. Everybody in the same key now. Little Brown Jug.
You and me, little brown jug, I love thee. You and me, little brown jug, I love thee.
What do you mean Miss Hathaway isn't there? I left her in charge. Well, ring her office again. Well, ring the secretarial pool. Ring... Isn't that Miss Hathaway coming towards us?
I believe it is, sir.
Well, there's a couple of fellas in the car. And another girl. They're singing. She's out on a date while my bank goes to pot. What? You bet I've got a message for her. She's fired.
You and me, little brown jug, I love thee.
Louise couldn't come along.
Oh, so was she, Granny, but one of us had to stay and look after things, and she volunteered.
Well, it was nice of her to let you have the cooking lesson.
Another cooking lesson?
Didn't she show you my letter? I told her that this time I was going to learn you city girls everything. From pickling pigs' knuckles to making hogshead cheese. And he's going to start with butchering the hog.
Thank you for watching my desk, Miss Murray. Any messages?
Just this one.
You may return to the secretarial pool. I'll call. This says I'm discharged.
Yes. Everybody's sorry to see you go. We started taking up a little collection for you.
Oh. I'm sure this is some sort of... Oh, if this is somebody's idea of a joke, I don't...
Oh, Miss Murray, will you... Well... If it isn't the playgirl of the Commerce Bank.
Chief, what is the meaning of this?
Well, let me see if I can translate it for you. Discharged. That means fired, canned, sacked. I need employees who are trustworthy and obedient. Wait in my office.
Yes, sir.
I don't need employees who skip out the minute my back is turned.
Chief, if you're referring to my absence from the bank...
I'm referring to you joyriding along Whittier Boulevard with that flashy blonde and those 2 Texas beer salesmen. You and me, little brown jug. Oh, what a double life you lead. Trim, prim Miss Hathaway in the office. And the minute my back is turned, it's Happy New Year.
Oh, Mr. Drysdale, if I am to be turned out without a hearing?
Without a hearing? everybody along Whittier Boulevard gave you a hearing. You and those off-key butter and egg men.
Before I leave, I think you should know that my passengers were Mr. and Mrs. Lester Flatt and Mr. Earl Scruggs, dear friends of Mr. J.D. Clabbett's, at whose request I picked them up at the airport. Goodbye.
Come back to your desk. Can't you say a little joke?
I don't consider it a joke to be humiliated in the eyes of my fellow employees. Why, they even took up a contribution for me.
Oh, really? Well, let's see. 53 cents. I tell you what, if you stay, I'll make it an even buck.
Your generosity is overwhelming. But if this is my reward for 10 years of faithful service, no, thank you.
Now, wait. That's only the beginning. From now on, you don't have to work Sundays. And you can take a full 20 minutes for lunch every day. And no more working late. I promise you'll be out of here by 9 o'clock every night.
Thank you, Ella Mae, but my wife Gladys is real fond of singing. I'm going to ask her to do a number for us.
Oh, you don't want to hear me?
Yeah. Please.
But I'm not a performer. I'm not even prepared or anything.
Oh,
come on.
Well, all right. I'll try. What do you think I should do, boys?
How about that song you've been rehearsing for 2 weeks?
Yeah, that one you bought that spatial new dress for.
All right, boys. But I think the lighting and the acoustics are better in the entrance hall. Oh, and fellas, on your accompaniment, I'd like you both to be playing guitar. And when we get to the rubato strain on the reprise, glissando into the major seventh, and we'll take it moderato on the subdominant, okay?
There she goes with that music school talk again.
Yeah, I wish I knew what it meant.
Me too, Lester, me too.
We didn't know Gladys was a singer.
This is going to be a real treat.
I'll say.
Yeah, boy.
Now, don't go to getting your hopes up. Gladys is a sweet woman, and she tries hard. But she ain't never going to be no Minnie Pearl.
Nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. You may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold won't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world still is the same, we'll never change it. Just as sure as the stars shine above, you are nobody till somebody loves you. So find yourself somebody to love.
Shall I fetch your truck around now, Granny? It's all fixed.
All right.
Now, you see what I mean, Jed? She's got a pleasant voice, but it just ain't got no power to it.
She wants to go on the road with us and sing at fairs and such.
Why, you'd never hear her over the livestock, Judge. Chickens cackling and pigs squealing would plumb drown her out.
This is the prettiest dress I ever did see.
Oh, thank you, Ellie.
But take my advice, Gladys. Don't wash it in hot water no more. It's pretty near shrunk off you now.
All right, Granny, I'll be careful.
Well, you better change. This ain't no dress to wear walking around the stockyards.
Stockyards?
Jethro's gonna drive us down to pick out the hog to butcher.
Granny, I thought maybe once you heard me sing that you might want to forget about the cooking lessons.
Oh, no, honey. Just 'cause you ain't a world beater at one thing don't mean you can't do another.
Hey, what have you done to the truck, Jed?
Well, that's Jethro's doing. He ain't got enough to keep himself busy, so he's took up inventing. He calls that his traffic jam jumper.
I got that moving ahead problem licked, Uncle Jed. Now I got rocket power.
Jethro, Gladys has decided to stay here and let us go pick out the hog.
Okay, let's go.
What's all this stuff?
Get in, I'll show you. Let's say we's going down the freeway. And all of a sudden, there's a big traffic jam up ahead. Well, we don't sit there and sweat and fume.
What do we do?
Watch. I throw this out of gear, throw this into gear, give this a yank, and here we go. Hang on, Granny!
Ain't that kind of dangerous, Jed?
Could be, yes. Granny! Don't let him turn off the key!
You what?
Turn off the key! Like I said, the boy ain't got enough to keep himself busy.
Same thing the next time you get me in that car, you'll get me.
Granny, where are those pone sticks I just baked?
Oh, I put them out back to cool.
Oh, how did they taste?
I don't know, honey. They were too hot. Come on, Gladys. Let's get to the pig knuckles.
Oh, Granny, do I have to? I love Lester, and I want to please him. But I'm just no good at making these country dishes.
Well, I could learn you to cook a city dish, like beaver casserole.
Beaver casserole? That's a city dish?
Specialty of the house in the hotel dining room in Bug Tussle.
Right. Actually, I don't want to take cooking lessons at all. What I want more than anything in life is to sing.
You really got your heart set on it, ain't you?
Yes, I have. I love it.
All right. Take off your apron.
Oh, thank you.
I'll give you a singing lesson.
Well, on second thought, every wife should know how to cook something for her husband.
Yeah, Lester, you got yourself a problem. A woman as pretty as Gladys would likely be a big drawing card in fairs, rodeos.
Oh, she's pretty, all right, and sweet as sorghums, but...
You know, Lester, I've been thinking, maybe if Gladys had sang right into a microphone and we turned the volume up as high as it'd go...
Oh, it ain't just her voice, Earl. She just won't want to learn no proper song.
She don't?
Oh, I've tried my best to get her to sing Stomping the Clover, Sweet Nellie, and The Sinking of the Titanic.
And she don't want it?
Oh, she wants to sing songs like Stardust, Night and Day, and Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
I never heard of them.
Well, you see what I'm up against.
I do for a fact.
Well, cheer up, Lester. Maybe Granny will teach her to cook so good she'll want to stay home in the kitchen.
I sure hope so. Say, Jed, what kind of wood is this? I've dulled 3 blades just to try and whittle it.
Me too.
It is tough, ain't it?
Yeah, where'd you get these?
I found them laying on the bench.
Hi.
Darling, how's the cooking lessons coming along?
Just fine, Lester. I already baked some corn pone sticks.
Well, ain't that dandy?
They're my favorites.
How about a taste?
All right. Granny put them out here to cool.
Mr. Drysdale's been calling you from the bank.
Let him call?
Well, ain't you working there no more?
I am happy to announce that I have terminated my affiliation with that penurious martinet.
Oh, still at the bank, huh?
Ellie, thanks to Mr. Flatt and Mr. Scruggs, I am about to become a balladeer, a troubadour, an interpreter of the true ethnic idiom.
They got you a promotion, huh?
That's funny. I can't find him. Have you seen anything of him?
Not me, have you, Earl?
Me neither.
I bet you the birds got him. And the squirrel.
Oh, gee.
It ain't safe to leave anything that good around outside.
Too bad, Gladys.
Don't you worry, Lester. I'll go right back and bake some just for you.
Oh, Gladys, are you sure you wouldn't like to learn Stompin' the Clover, Sweet Nellie?
No, Lester, that's not my kind of music. I like sophisticated songs.
Well, then, how about the wreck of the old 97? Do it for her, fellas.
Jed, we'd rather not do one of them sad songs.
Would you rather eat one of them corn sticks?
Greetings, all.
Hi, Jane.
Hey,
Here you are, gentlemen. I am ready for my audition. Your husband has invited me to journey to Nashville and join them in interpreting the folk music of our land.
Oh, well, isn't that sweet of my husband? He's never invited me to do that.
Honey, like I said, it's because you can't do her kind of music.
Who says I can't?
Well, then it's because you don't want to.
Who says I don't want to?
Well, and,
Here we go. The wreck of old 97. Let her go, Lester.
all they gave him was orders. Monroe, Virginia, Steve, you're way behind time. It's not 38, but it's old 97. You must put her in Spencer on time.
Sing one, Miss Jane.
He turned around and said to his fireman, a shovel in a little more coal. And when we cross this big wide mountain, you can watch old 97 a roll.
Come on, Gladys, now show us what you can do.
The mighty rough road from Lynchburg to Danville, it's lying on a 3-mile grade. It was on that grade that he lost his air brakes, and you see what a jump he made.
Bump us, of course, Jed.
Going down grade, making 90 miles an hour, his whistle began to scream. He was found in a wreck with his hand on the throttle and was scalded to death by the sea.
The Brewster Emergency, Adoption Baby Soap and the Cradle that once held Jethro. The manufactured emergency that keeps the Clampetts in Beverly Hills unfolds with the deliberate, almost ceremonial pace of a formal introduction. Mr. Drysdale, having successfully intercepted the departing family, now turns his full attention to the delicate task of presenting the Brewsters as clients in urgent need of Granny's professional services. The scene in the banker's office is staged with the careful formality that Raymond Bailey always brought to moments of high institutional stakes. John and Edith Brewster are ushered in and the congratulations begin at once. Hello Melbourne, John. Edith, congratulations, I heard about the baby. The slight confusion of names Melbourne for what is clearly meant to be a more conventional greeting is itself a small comic grace note, a reminder that even in the midst of carefully orchestrated deception, the banker remains only partially in control of the social machinery he has set in motion. The Brewsters' immediate clarification is delivered with the quiet dignity that the series always reserved for characters who stand slightly outside the main Clampett orbit. Mr. Drysdale, we're adopting the baby. The line is spoken without apology or elaborate explanation. Adoption is simply the fact of their situation. Drysdale's response, yes I know, sit down, is the automatic reassurance of a man who has already decided that the distinction between biological and adoptive parenthood is irrelevant to his purposes. He has solved their biggest problem, he announces, by securing the services of a baby nurse. The gift is presented with the expansive generosity that the banker always displayed when the retention of the Clampett fortune was at stake. Edith Brewster's gentle refusal is the first indication that the carefully constructed emergency may not proceed according to plan. "That's very nice of you, but we're not going to have a baby, nurse. Edith wants to take care of the baby herself." The declaration is offered with quiet conviction. In the early 1960s, the ideal of the self-sufficient modern mother educated by books, classes, and lectures was already gaining cultural currency. Edith embodies that ideal with complete sincerity. She has prepared herself, she looks forward to the work, she requires no professional assistance. Drysdale's visible dismay is the dismay of a man whose entire scheme has just been undercut by the very people he intended to use as bait. The introduction of Granny herself is handled with the series' characteristic blend of pride and protective affection. When the name is mentioned, Edith's reaction is immediate and revealing. "You don't mean Granny Clampett, the little hillbilly woman." Drysdale's defense is swift and for once entirely accurate. "What makes you think she's a hillbilly? I was the one who found the Clampetts. Remember, they were living in a shack so far back in the woods that Granny had to make her own soap out of lye and possum fat." The recollection is offered with the mixture of proprietary pride and residual condescension that always colored the banker's relationship to the family whose fortune he managed. 4 years in a Beverly Hills mansion have not, in his view, entirely erased the origins that first brought the Clampetts to his attention. Jed's subsequent entrance carrying the old family cradle transforms the scene from institutional negotiation into pure Clampett hospitality. "Hi, Mr. Brewster, Dad, congratulations. Mr. Drysdale told us about the new boarder that's coming." The mishearing of boarder for what is clearly meant to be baby is itself a small comic treasure, a reminder that the family's understanding of the situation remains only partial. Jed has brought the cradle that has been in the family for years. The same cradle that once held Jethro. "Last baby to use it with Jethro. Yeah, that's the reason I'm putting in some more slats so Jethro know it right through a couple of them." The practical detail is pure Jed, thoughtful, slightly apologetic, and entirely focused on the comfort of the child who will occupy the cradle next. The stories that follow about Jethro's infancy are among the most richly detailed comic set pieces in the entire composite script. "Baby did this funny thing about Jethro. He was born with a full set of teeth just like a beaver." The image is offered with complete seriousness. In the world of the hills, such anomalies are simply facts of life to be noted and accommodated rather than explained away. "That's incredible. Guess who went to eat right off since he was 3 months old? He sat at the table and matched the grown-ups jaw for jaw." The progression from beaver teeth to early independent dining is delivered with the same matter-of-fact pride that the family always brought to recollections of Jethro's more remarkable qualities. Buddy Ebsen's quiet amusement, Irene Ryan's professional interest, and Max Baer Jr.'s complete lack of self-consciousness combine to create a moment of pure character comedy. Granny's parallel contribution to the preparations is equally characteristic. She is discovered out back right now making baby soap. The activity is presented without commentary or explanation. In Granny's world, the arrival of a child requires soap made according to the old methods. Commercial alternatives are simply irrelevant. The detail connects directly to Drysdale's earlier recollection of the lye and possum fat soap of the hills, creating a quiet continuity between the family's past and its present. The series writers understood that the most effective comic details are those that simultaneously advance the immediate plot and deepen the audience's understanding of character. The Brewsters' polite but firm insistence on managing the child themselves produces one of the episode's most delicately observed collisions of values. Jed's concern is genuine and protective, this being her first young'un, hadn't she better have Granny around? The suggestion is offered with the same quiet authority that he brings to every family decision. Edith's determination to proceed according to modern methods is equally genuine. She has read the books. She has attended the classes and lectures. She feels ready. The impasse is resolved for the moment by the Brewsters' graceful withdrawal and Jed's reluctant acceptance that we'll let Edith try it her way. The question of timing provides the final comic grace note of the sequence. When is the young one due to arrive? Well, we don't know yet, we're waiting for somebody to tell us. The line is delivered with complete innocence. In the world of formal adoption, the arrival of the child is governed by institutional schedules rather than biological ones. To the Clampetts, the idea that a baby's arrival might be subject to external notification is simply another of the mysterious customs of Beverly Hills. The laughter that follows is the laughter of characters who have not yet recognized the full extent of the misunderstanding that has been constructed around them. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle exploration of competing ideals of parenthood. The traditional midwife, the self-sufficient modern mother, the institutional processes of adoption, all of these models are present in the scene and none is presented as definitively superior. The series writers allow the tension to remain unresolved, trusting that the comedy of mutual incomprehension will speak for itself. The result is a sequence that remains both funny and oddly moving more than half a century later. The performances that animate the scene are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Buddy Ebsen's Jed moves through the conversation with the steady courtesy of a man who has never doubted the importance of hospitality. Irene Ryan's Granny accepts the professional call with the same brisk efficiency that she would bring to a genuine medical emergency. The actors portraying the Brewsters convey a quiet dignity that prevents them from becoming mere foils. They remain recognizably human even as they become the unwitting instruments of Drysdale's scheme. Raymond Bailey's banker watches the proceedings with the barely concealed anxiety of a man whose entire plan depends on the continued presence of Granny in Beverly Hills. The old cradle, the beaver teeth stories, the homemade baby soap, the polite insistence on self-sufficiency, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of two families attempting to navigate a shared situation with incomplete information and incompatible assumptions. When the Brewsters finally depart, the audience understands that the emergency has been successfully established, yet the seeds of its eventual collapse have already been planted. The Clampetts believe they have been called to assist at a birth. The Brewsters believe they have politely declined unnecessary assistance. Drysdale believes he has secured the continued presence of the $50 million. Each of these beliefs will be tested in the scenes that follow, and the series will explore those tests with the same affectionate attention to character that has always been its greatest strength. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action, it advances the central conflict through the collision of incompatible desires, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The cradle that once held Jethro, the soap made according to the old methods, the stories of early independent dining, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of the Clampett family even as they serve the immediate requirements of the plot. When Granny later declares that she will visit the Brewsters at once, the audience recognizes that the long house call has simply been redirected rather than cancelled. The Hills have been postponed, the duty remains. In that combination of professional obligation, family loyalty, and institutional deception lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The conversation between Granny and Edith Brewster unfolds with the quiet, deliberate intensity that Irene Ryan always brought to moments of professional concern. Having been informed that the young woman intends to manage the arrival of the child without assistance, Granny requests a private interview. Ellie Mae is sent outside with the menfolk and the two women are left alone in the room that has for the moment become a consulting chamber. The scene is staged with the simplicity that characterized the series' most effective character confrontations, two women of different generations, different backgrounds, and fundamentally different assumptions about the nature of parenthood attempting to reach an understanding across the cultural distance that separates them. Granny's opening inquiry is direct and free of ornament. Edith, Jed tells me that according to your husband you want to take care of everything yourself when the baby comes. The line is spoken with the measured courtesy of a woman who has spent a lifetime delivering children and who therefore regards the refusal of experienced help as a matter of serious professional interest. Edith's reply is equally direct. Yes, I do. I've been reading books and going to classes and lectures and I feel I'm ready for John Jr. The name is offered with quiet pride. The child, though not yet present, has already been given an identity and a place within the family. In the early 1960s, the ideal of the prepared modern mother, educated, self-reliant and confident in the authority of expert literature, was gaining steady cultural ground. Edith embodies that ideal with complete sincerity. The first indication of the deeper misunderstanding arrives with Granny's casual question about the child's sex. John Jr. want a boy, huh? Edith's answer reveals the extent to which the decision has already been made. Well, it's what John wants, so that's what we decided on. The line is delivered without hesitation. In the world of formal adoption, the preference for a male child is simply one more detail to be arranged through institutional channels. To Granny, the idea that the sex of a child might be selected in advance is simply another of the mysterious customs of Beverly Hills. The comedy of the moment resides entirely in the absolute seriousness with which both women treat their respective assumptions. The revelation that transforms the entire sequence arrives with Edith's next statement. "We're going to pick him up at 3 o'clock. Granny's repetition "pick him up" carries the first faint note of incredulity. Edith continues with the calm practicality of a woman who has completed all necessary arrangements at the Beverly Hills baby service. The phrase hangs in the air for a fraction of a second before its full implications become clear. Granny's response is pure, unfiltered astonishment. The Beverly Hills baby service. The words are repeated slowly as if the very sound of them might somehow alter their meaning. Edith, still unaware of the cultural chasm that has opened between them, assumes that the older woman already understands the procedure. "Yes, I thought you knew all about this." What follows is one of the purest expressions of the series' gift for culture clash comedy. Granny, confronted with the idea that a child might be obtained by appointment from a commercial establishment, responds with the full force of her hill country understanding of human beginnings. The notion that a baby might be selected, paid for, and carried home in a basket is simply outside the range of her experience. Edith, for her part, remains entirely unaware that any misunderstanding exists. She is excited, she is prepared, and she is eager to complete the final step of a process that has already required considerable institutional negotiation. The two women occupy the same physical space while inhabiting entirely different conceptual worlds. The arrival of John Brewster with the forgotten baby basket accelerates the comic momentum. "Darling, do you know what we forgot? The baby basket." The practical detail is offered with the same cheerful efficiency that the couple has brought to every previous arrangement. Edith's agreement is instantaneous. "You're right, we did baby basket, yes, to put our boy in. We're going to go get him at 3 o'clock. The confirmation is delivered without a trace of self-consciousness. In the world of formal adoption, the basket is simply another necessary accessory, no more remarkable than a crib or a set of receiving blankets. To Granny, the image of a child being transported home in a basket like a purchased commodity is the final confirmation that the customs of Beverly Hills have moved beyond her comprehension. Granny's attempt to detain the couple for further conversation is met with polite but firm resistance. "We haven't time for that now, Granny." The line is spoken with the residual courtesy of people who have no wish to give offense yet who are already focused on the practical requirements of the afternoon's appointment. The Brewsters depart with promises to stop on their way home and show the new arrival. Granny is left alone with the full weight of the misunderstanding. Her subsequent report to Jed is delivered with the quiet intensity of a woman who has just witnessed something that challenges the foundations of her professional and personal experience. "They're going to a baby store to buy a baby." Jed's response is pure unfiltered incredulity. "You're right, I don't believe you." The line is spoken with the same steady courtesy that Buddy Ebsen always brought to moments of extreme cultural dislocation. Granny's continuation, "Jenny beats anything I ever heard. How folks can get to be their age and still be green as grass," carries the full force of her hill country judgment. In the world of the hills, the arrival of a child is a matter of biology, community, and the patient attendance of experienced women. The idea that the same event might be arranged through commercial transaction is simply outside the range of credible human behavior, yet the evidence of her own eyes and ears has forced her to accept that the evidence is genuine. The sequence that follows is one of the most delicately observed explorations of mutual incomprehension in the entire series. Granny's decision to wait for the Brewsters' inevitable return is grounded in a profound if unspoken confidence that reality will eventually reassert itself. "Don't worry, they'll be back with a broken heart, then is when they's gonna need us." The line is spoken with the quiet authority of a woman who has spent a lifetime watching human beings confront the limits of their own assumptions. In Granny's experience, the world has a way of correcting those who attempt to rearrange its fundamental processes. The commercial acquisition of a child is, in her view, precisely such an attempt. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle but persistent examination of the period's evolving attitudes toward parenthood, adoption, and the commercialization of what had once been exclusively private experience. Formal adoption agencies, baby services, and the language of scheduled acquisition were already features of metropolitan life. The series simply filters those features through the uncomprehending eyes of characters whose understanding of human beginnings remains rooted in the older patterns of the hills. The comedy never descends into mockery of either set of assumptions. Edith's preparations are presented with complete sincerity. Granny's astonishment is presented with equal sincerity. The humor resides entirely in the absolute incompatibility of the two worldviews. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny moves from professional concern to pure astonishment with the precision of a woman whose entire understanding of human life has been challenged. Every shift of expression, every carefully measured repetition of the fatal phrase "Beverly Hills baby service" conveys the depth of her dislocation. The actress portraying Edith Brewster maintains a cheerful, practical efficiency that prevents the character from becoming a mere foil. She remains recognizably human even as she becomes the unwitting instrument of the episode's central misunderstanding. Buddy Ebsen's Jed receives the news with the steady, slightly dazed courtesy of a man who has long since learned that Beverly Hills is capable of producing almost any form of human peculiarity. The baby basket, the 3 o'clock appointment, the commercial language of acquisition, the quiet confidence that reality will eventually reassert itself. All of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of two cultures attempting to navigate a shared situation with incomplete information and incompatible assumptions. When the Brewsters finally depart to complete their appointment, the audience understands that the misunderstanding has reached its fullest expression. Yet the seeds of its eventual resolution have already been planted. Granny will wait, the Brewsters will return. The collision between commercial procedure and hill country expectation will produce further complications. The series will explore those complications with the same affectionate attention to character that has always been its greatest strength. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action, it advances the central conflict through the collision of incompatible desires, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The prepared modern mother, the experienced midwife, the commercial baby service, the forgotten basket, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both the Clampett family and the metropolitan world that surrounds them. When Granny later declares that she will borrow some of the books Edith has been reading, the audience recognizes that the Longhouse Call has simply entered a new and more complicated phase. The hills have been postponed, the duty remains, the misunderstanding has only begun to unfold. In that combination of professional obligation, cultural dislocation, and unexpected human decency lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The return of the borrowed keys to Mr. Drysdale's office marks the precise moment at which Jethro Bodine's entrepreneurial imagination detaches itself entirely from the constraints of existing institutions and begins to generate its own. Having observed the temporary resolution of the family's threatened departure, the young man now presents himself at the bank with the quiet confidence of a proprietor about to announce a major expansion. "Here's your key back," he informs the banker, "but why don't you keep it, Jethro? I don't need it. I'm opening up my own club, the Possum Pin." The declaration is delivered with the full-throated enthusiasm that Max Baer Jr. always brought to Jethro's more expansive schemes. The name itself, Possum Pin, is pure hill country invention, a cheerful appropriation of the animal motif that had earlier defined the borrowed evening of entertainment. Raymond Bailey's Mr. Drysdale receives the announcement with the mixture of residual panic and professional calculation that has governed his every interaction with the Clampett fortune. The keys have been returned, the immediate threat of departure has been averted, yet the young man's sudden determination to establish an independent nightclub introduces a new and unpredictable variable into the banker's carefully managed world. Jethro's subsequent request is characteristically practical and entirely outrageous. He is collecting the most beautiful girls in town and he requires Miss Jane's assistance both as a driver and as a costume designer. "Reckon you can change these kitty costumes into possums?" The line is spoken with complete seriousness. In Jethro's imagination, the transition from one animal theme to another is a simple matter of minor adjustment. The underlying principle of thematic entertainment remains constant. Nancy Culp's Miss Jane responds with the measured refusal that has always defined her relationship to Jethro's more extravagant proposals. No thank you. The two words are delivered without elaboration, yet they carry the full weight of professional self-preservation. Jethro's insistence that he has already promised the young women double their previous pay only intensifies the comic pressure. The young man has moved in the space of a single afternoon, from borrowed keys to independent proprietorship, from existing clubs to original invention, from temporary entertainment to permanent enterprise. The speed of the transition is itself a comic achievement of the highest order. The subsequent evolution of the concept reveals the full fluidity of Jethro's creative process. Unable to locate suitable possum costumes, he abandons the animal motif altogether and reconceives the establishment as a haunted house. I couldn't find no possum outfits, but we can still have a key club, call it the haunted house, and these girls will be spooks. The new designation is announced with the same absolute confidence that had earlier accompanied the possum pin. In Jethro's mind, the change of theme is simply a practical adaptation to available resources. The underlying ambition remains unaltered. Miss Jane is once again pressed into service, this time as head spook, and the young women are instructed to don sheets for a preliminary demonstration. The visual comedy of the sequence is handled with the light touch that characterized the series' best physical work. The young women, still partially costumed from their earlier appearance as kitty cats, are now required to transform themselves into spectral figures. Jethro's instructions are large, expansive, and entirely free of self-consciousness. All right, girls, take them off. The command is issued with the cheerful authority of a director rehearsing a new production. When the demonstration threatens to become more revealing than the occasion requires, Jed's quiet intervention restores a measure of rural propriety. All right, that's enough, put them back on, everybody back in the truck. The line is spoken without raised voice or visible anger. It carries the authority of a man who has spent years attempting to guide an essentially good-hearted but chronically impulsive relative. The parallel narrative of the Brewster situation continues to unfold in the background, creating a delicate counterpoint between Jethro's entrepreneurial fantasies and Granny's professional concerns. While the young man is organizing his haunted house staff, Granny is already formulating a practical response to the Brewsters' commercial approach to parenthood. The two strands of the episode remain distinct, yet they share a common underlying logic. Both represent attempts by members of the Clampett family to translate the unfamiliar customs of Beverly Hills into terms they can understand and control. Jethro's nightclub is an attempt to master the world of sophisticated urban leisure. Granny's eventual intervention in the Brewster household will be an attempt to restore the older patterns of human beginnings. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, Jethro's rapidly evolving nightclub schemes function as a gentle satire of the period's fascination with thematic novelty and entrepreneurial improvisation. The early years of the decade had already witnessed the proliferation of specialty clubs, animal motifs, and ever more elaborate forms of leisure entertainment. The series simply filters those trends through the unfiltered imagination of a young man whose previous experience of commercial entertainment was limited to the community gatherings of the hills. The humor never descends into mockery of the ambition itself. Jethro's desire to create something of his own is presented with complete sincerity. The comedy resides entirely in the absolute fluidity with which one concept replaces another, and in the cheerful disregard for practical constraints that accompanies every new idea. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro moves from the possum pin to the haunted house with the same expansive energy that he has brought to every previous scheme. Every gesture, every rapid reconceptualization of the evening's entertainment is delivered with complete conviction. Nancy Culp's Miss Jane remains the still center of the chaos, her refusals measured. Her loyalty to the Clampett family absolute, even when the demands placed upon her border on the absurd. Buddy Ebsen's Jed intervenes only when the boundaries of rural propriety are threatened, his authority quiet but decisive. The young women, though largely silent, contribute a visual comedy of their own. Their professional composure in the face of Jethro's earnest direction creates a comic dissonance that the camera records without comment. The sequence also provides an early indication of the larger thematic concerns that will govern the remainder of the episode. The tension between existing institutions and original invention, between borrowed authority and independent enterprise, between the values of the Hills and the commercial possibilities of Beverly Hills, all of these tensions are present in embryo in Jethro's rapid succession of nightclub concepts. The series writers understood that the most effective comic engines are those that begin with a single seemingly minor impulse and then allow the consequences to multiply according to the logic of character. The borrowed keys were intended to provide a single evening of entertainment. They have instead precipitated an independent commercial venture whose final form remains entirely unpredictable. The practical details of the sequence accumulate into a portrait of entrepreneurial ambition filtered through hill country sensibility. The doubled pay promised to the young women, the request that Miss Jane serve as both driver and costume designer, the cheerful abandonment of one animal theme in favor of another, the final transformation of the entire enterprise into a haunted house, all of these particulars deepen the audience's understanding of Jethro's particular form of creativity. When the young women are finally loaded back into the truck and the demonstration is concluded, the audience understands that the scheme has been temporarily suspended rather than permanently abandoned. The energy that produced the possum pin and the haunted house will soon find new outlets, and the series will continue to explore those outlets with the same affectionate attention to character that has always been its greatest strength. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action, it advances the central conflict through the collision of incompatible desires, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The possum pin, the doubled wages, the spectral sheets, the quiet intervention of rural propriety, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both Jethro, Bodine, and the metropolitan world he is attempting to master. When the young man later turns his attention to the more permanent ambitions of magic and invention, the audience will recognize that the nightclub schemes were simply the first expression of an entrepreneurial energy that remains at bottom, both boundless and fundamentally good-hearted. In that combination of boundless energy, practical improvisation, and unexpected human decency lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The decision to provide the Brewsters with a temporary substitute for the expected child emerges from the same practical, affectionate logic that has always governed Granny's approach to human need. Having observed the young couple's departure for the Beverly Hills baby service, and having correctly anticipated that the commercial transaction will not produce the fulfillment they seek, Granny determines that the household must be prepared for the inevitable moment of disappointment. The solution she devises is characteristically direct and entirely free of theoretical complication. If the Brewsters have been all built up to hear the patter of little feet in that nursery, then something must be supplied to occupy the empty space until a more permanent understanding can be reached. The something turns out to be a dog. The presentation of the animal is staged with the quiet ceremonial dignity that Irene Ryan always brought to moments of professional intervention. Granny and Ellie Mae arrive at the Brewster residence carrying the creature with the same careful attention that might attend the delivery of an actual infant. "We got you something to put in your basket," Granny announces, and the dog is produced for inspection. The Brewsters' initial reaction is pure unfiltered astonishment. John Brewster's startled "Don't let him near the baby" is the automatic response of a man who has not yet recognized that the baby in question does not exist. Edith's subsequent cry of recognition, "My doggies, they did get a baby, look at that, that's John Jr." transforms the moment from potential disaster into pure comic revelation. The naming of the animal is itself a small masterpiece of culture clash comedy. In the world of formal adoption, the child has already been designated John Jr. The name carries the full weight of familial expectation and institutional arrangement. When the same name is applied without hesitation to a dog, the collision of categories is absolute. Edith's delighted "Isn't he beautiful" is corrected at once by her husband's more masculine assessment, "Handsome dear, handsome, not beautiful." The distinction is offered with complete seriousness. Even in the midst of the most profound misunderstanding, the Brewsters maintain the small proprietary adjustments that mark the beginning of parental identity. The dog, for its part, remains cheerfully unaware of the symbolic burden that has been placed upon it. Granny's response to the entire transaction is pure patient wisdom. She has not attempted to explain the commercial nature of the baby service. She has not delivered a lecture on the difference between biological and adoptive parenthood. She has simply supplied a living creature capable of receiving the affection that the Brewsters are so clearly prepared to give. Much better than coming home with an empty basket, she observes, and the line carries the full weight of her practical philosophy. In the world of the hills, empty spaces are not left unfilled. When human need presents itself, something is provided to meet it. The dog is not a permanent solution, it is a temporary bridge across the gap between expectation and reality. The subsequent conversation between Granny and Edith reveals the deeper currents of mutual incomprehension that still govern the relationship. Edith, still radiant with the excitement of the afternoon's acquisition, promises to return later for the advice that Granny had earlier attempted to offer. Granny's reply is characteristically indirect. "Forget it, honey, just let me borrow some of them books you've been reading." The request is delivered with quiet intensity. In Granny's experience, the written word has never been the primary source of knowledge about human beginnings, yet if the books have produced the present situation, then the books themselves must be examined. The line is pure Irene Ryan, brisk, practical, and entirely free of condescension. Jed's parallel observation of Ellie Mae's domestic activities provides a quiet counterpoint to the larger misunderstanding. The young woman is discovered in the kitchen stirring a cake batter, an activity that Granny has declared high time she learned. Jed's approval is immediate and affectionate. "Sure pleasure to me to see you taking a hold in the kitchen like this." The subsequent exchange about the proper method of beating batter, "Maybe you better beat this a little more. I don't think you quite broke its spirit," is pure Clampett domestic comedy, a reminder that the ordinary rhythms of family life continue even as larger complications unfold around them. Ellie Mae's willingness to learn, Jed's quiet encouragement, and the shared understanding that good cooking is just about as important as good looking, all reaffirm the values that have always held the household together. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle examination of the period's evolving attitudes toward companionship, affection, and the substitutes that human beings create. Primary needs remain unfulfilled. The commercial acquisition of a child, the spontaneous substitution of a dog, the patient wisdom that refuses to force a premature explanation, all of these elements speak to a deeper anxiety about the adequacy of institutional solutions to fundamentally human longings. The series never labors the point, it simply allows the dog to occupy the cradle and the affection to flow toward the nearest available recipient, and the result is comedy that remains both funny and oddly moving. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny moves through the presentation of the dog with the same professional composure that she would bring to a genuine medical delivery. Every gesture, every carefully measured observation conveys the depth of her practical understanding. Donna Douglas's Ellie Mae radiates the open-hearted willingness that has always defined the character. Her participation in the substitution is entirely free of irony or self-consciousness. The actors portraying the Brewsters convey a genuine if misplaced parental delight that prevents them from becoming mere foils. They remain recognizably human even as they bestow the name John Jr. upon a dog. Buddy Ebsen's Jed observes the entire proceeding with the steady, slightly amused courtesy of a man who has long since learned that Beverly Hills is capable of producing almost any form of human peculiarity. The dog itself, though necessarily limited in its performance range, becomes a silent participant in the comedy. Its cheerful acceptance of the attention, its willingness to occupy the space prepared for a child, its complete unawareness of the symbolic weight it carries, all of these qualities deepen the audience's understanding of the gap between institutional expectation and living reality. When the Brewsters finally depart with promises to return for further advice, the audience understands that the temporary solution has been successfully established, yet the seeds of its eventual complication have already been planted. The dog will remain, the misunderstanding will continue, the collision between commercial procedure and hill country practicality will produce further developments. The sequence also provides a quiet affirmation of the series' deepest thematic commitments. In a world increasingly organized around institutional solutions and commercial transactions, Granny does not attempt to dismantle the baby service, she simply supplies what the service has failed to provide. The dog is not a critique of adoption, It is a temporary answer to an immediate emptiness. The distinction is crucial. The series writers understood that the most effective comedy emerges not from the destruction of opposing values but from the patient, affectionate negotiation of the space between them. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action, it advances the central conflict through the collision of incompatible desires, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The named dog, the empty basket, the borrowed books. The cake batter that has not yet had its spirit broken, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both the Clampett family and the metropolitan world that surrounds them. When Granny later reflects that things have moved ahead considerable since my day, the audience recognizes that the long house call has entered yet another phase. The Hills remain postponed, the duty continues, the makeshift baby occupies the cradle, and the patient wisdom of the Hills continues to operate quietly and effectively in the midst of Beverly Hills confusion. In that combination of practical provision, cultural dislocation, and unexpected human decency, lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The domestic quiet that follows the temporary resolution of the Brewster situation is broken as so many of the Clampett household's more productive conversations are broken by Granny's mounting exasperation with Jethro's particular form of industrious idleness. The young man has been underfoot in the kitchen, consuming everything within reach, and Granny's solution is characteristically direct. She assigns him the task of cracking a basket of walnuts. The assignment is intended both as useful labor and as a temporary removal of the source of irritation. What follows is pure Jethro. The task is completed, yet the method employed transforms a simple household chore into a minor domestic catastrophe. See what I mean, Granny declares, displaying the results of the young man's efforts. That rascal is using my slow town green meal. He's getting bone lazy, Jed. The walnuts have not been cracked, they have been powdered. The mill that Granny had reserved for more delicate operations has been pressed into service with the same cheerful disregard for appropriate tools that has always characterized Jethro's approach to practical problems. Irene Ryan's delivery of the complaint carries the full weight of accumulated rural experience. In the world of the Hills, tools have specific purposes. The misapplication of a mill to the cracking of walnuts is not merely inefficient, it is a form of waste that borders on moral failing. Jed's response is the quiet, measured consideration that Buddy Ebsen always brought to questions of the young man's future. It's time he learned a trade like barrel making or blacksmithing. The suggestion is offered without urgency, yet it carries the full weight of a man who has watched his nephew's education remain largely theoretical. Seems a shame for a boy with 6 years of schooling to do hand labor. Must be somewhere we can put all that education to work. The line is pure Jed. Affectionate, practical, and already searching for a solution that will honor both the young man's capacities and the family's deeper values. In the early 1960s, the question of how to translate formal education into useful occupation was a matter of national conversation. The series simply filters that conversation through the particular lens of a family whose understanding of useful work remains rooted in the older patterns of the Hills. Jethro's demonstration of his mathematical abilities provides one of the purest expressions of the series' gift for character comedy. "Cipher something, show Granny how good you are," Jed instructs, and the young man responds with the cheerful confidence of a student who has never doubted the value of his own accomplishments. "Okay, what do you want, times or gazinta?" The word gazinta, a hill country rendering of gozinta, is itself a small comic treasure. A reminder that even the formal operations of arithmetic have been translated into the vernacular of the Hills. The subsequent recitation is delivered with complete seriousness: 5 gazinta 5 once, 5 gazinta 10 twice, 5 gazinta 15 3 times, 5 gazinta 24 times. That's as high as I can go anyway without my tablet. The performance is pure Max Baer Jr. Every calculation is offered with the same expansive enthusiasm that the actor brought to Jethro's most misguided schemes. There is no self-consciousness, no awareness that the demonstration might appear limited to metropolitan eyes. In Jethro's mind, the ability to perform successive divisions of 5 constitutes genuine mathematical prowess, and the family accepts the demonstration on those terms. Granny's residual skepticism, "I still say, where's he gonna use all that highfalutin education?" is met with Jed's quiet suggestion that the Commerce Bank might provide an appropriate outlet. They do a heap of ciphering down there. The line is spoken with the same steady courtesy that has always governed Jed's interactions with the metropolitan world. If the young man's abilities can be made useful, then a place must be found for them. The transition from domestic mathematics to professional magic arrives with the suddenness that characterized the series' most effective plot developments. Mr. Marvin Bagby presents himself at the bank seeking a loan, and the confrontation that follows is a master class in the collision between institutional caution and theatrical self-presentation. I prefer the name by which I am known the world over, Marvel the Magnificent. The declaration is delivered with the full rhetorical flourish of a man who has spent years constructing an identity larger than ordinary life. Raymond Bailey's Mr. Drysdale receives the announcement with the measured skepticism of a banker who has heard every possible form of self-promotion. The subsequent negotiation reveals the full extent of the visitor's current circumstances. Marvel possesses, he claims, a warehouse full of priceless professional paraphernalia valued at $100,000. He wishes to borrow $50,000. Drysdale's refusal is absolute and immediate. An unsecured loan is out of the question. The equipment, however valuable in the abstract, is useless as collateral if it remains locked away and unsold. The magician's defense of his position is pure theatrical dignity. A magician does not sell the secrets that have brought him fame and fortune. The line is spoken with complete seriousness. In Marvel's world, the apparatus of illusion is not mere property, it is the tangible expression of a lifetime's accumulated mystery. To sell it would be to dismantle the identity he has so carefully constructed. The revelation of the magician's actual recent employment history provides the sequence's sharpest comic turn. He has not worked on the stage for 10 years. In the interim, he has sold aluminum awnings, stolen mufflers, and most recently held a position at a car wash. The catalogue is delivered with the same residual dignity that has governed every previous claim. There is no apology, only the quiet acknowledgement that the path of a theatrical professional is rarely straightforward. Drysdale's response is pure institutional calculation. The bank cannot advance funds on the basis of future possibilities and past glory. The interview appears to have reached its natural conclusion. Jethro's intervention transforms the entire dynamic. Having observed the magician's brief demonstration with a quarter, now you see it. Now you don't. The young man is immediately captivated. The request for further performance is offered with the same open-hearted enthusiasm that has always characterized his approach to new experiences. When Marvel declines a visit to the Clampett residence, Jethro supplies the detail that alters the magician's calculations entirely. He's got $50 million. He has what, $50 million right here in this bank. The information is delivered without calculation or strategic intent. It is simply a fact of the young man's world. For Marvel, the Magnificent, however, the fact represents the sudden reappearance of possibility. The subsequent introduction of the magician to the Clampett household is staged with the ceremonial warmth that the family always extended to visitors. Jed's greeting, "Who'd have thought I'd be shaking hands with a real honest-to-goodness magician," carries the full weight of genuine wonder. In the world of the Hills, the arrival of a professional illusionist is an event of considerable magnitude. The small demonstrations that follow the scarf produced from Jed's pocket, the egg extracted from Jethro's ear, are received with the same open-hearted astonishment that the family brought to every new experience. There is no skepticism, only the pure pleasure of witnessing the impossible made momentarily real. Granny's residual caution provides the sequence's necessary counterweight. "Don't you turn me into nothing," she instructs, and the line is spoken with the practical wariness of a woman who has spent a lifetime navigating a world that already contains sufficient unpredictability. The magician's assurance is immediate and theatrical. The evening's entertainment is promised, the suitcase of apparatus is carried inside, and the household prepares itself for a performance that will, in the scenes that follow, transform Jethro's understanding of his own possible futures. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle examination of the period's competing models of success and self-presentation. The formal mathematics of the classroom, the practical ciphering of the bank, the theatrical self-invention of the professional magician, all of these models are present in the scene, and none is presented as definitively superior. Jethro's gazintas are limited yet genuine. Marvel's claims are expansive yet currently unsupported by regular employment. The series simply allows the two forms of ambition to occupy the same space, and the result is comedy that remains both funny and oddly touching. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro moves from powdered walnuts to mathematical demonstration to sudden theatrical ambition with the same expansive energy that has governed every previous scheme. Every calculation, every expression of wonder is delivered with complete conviction. The actor portraying Marvel the Magnificent conveys a residual dignity that prevents the character from becoming a mere confidence man. He remains recognizably human even as his claims exceed his current circumstances. Buddy Ebsen's Jed observes the entire proceeding with the steady, slightly amused courtesy of a man who has long since learned that Beverly Hills is capable of producing almost any form of human peculiarity. Irene Ryan's Granny supplies the necessary note of practical caution without ever descending into simple rejection of the new. The powdered walnuts, the successive divisions of 5, the warehouse of unsold apparatus, the egg extracted from an ear, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of ambition filtered through competing systems of value. When Jethro later declares that he has found his future in the art of magic, the audience will recognize that the declaration emerges directly from the collision staged in this sequence. The long house call has been postponed, the Brewster situation remains unresolved. Yet a new and entirely unpredictable current has entered the household's life. In that combination of practical mathematics, theatrical self-invention and unexpected human connection lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The evening performance that Marvel the Magnificent presents in the Clampett living room unfolds with the deliberate, almost ceremonial pacing that the series always reserved for moments of pure theatrical spectacle. The household has gathered, the suitcase of apparatus has been opened, the air itself seems charged with the possibility of the impossible. Marvel begins with the practiced confidence of a man who has spent a lifetime constructing illusion, yet the first effect already betrays the gap between intention and execution. "This is the wrong handkerchief, I never have liked polka dots." The line is delivered with the residual dignity of a professional who has learned to incorporate minor disasters into the larger fabric of the act. The audience of Clampett's receives the admission with the same open-hearted attention that they have brought to every previous demonstration. The subsequent effects accumulate with the steady rhythm of a performance that is simultaneously succeeding and failing. The paper cup fashioned from ordinary material is filled with milk and then emptied by pure disappearance. Jethro's admiring observation, "I wish I could do that," is met with Granny's practical correction, "You do that every meal and quicker." The exchange is pure Clampett domestic comedy. A reminder that the ordinary miracles of rural life continue to operate even in the presence of professional illusion. Marvel's request for a gorgeous young assistant produces an immediate and competitive response from both Ellie Mae and Granny, each of whom assumes the invitation is directed at her. The resulting confusion, get down, he ain't talking about you," is resolved only by the magician's diplomatic selection of Ellie Mae for the next effect. The cake produced from an ordinary top hat is the sequence's most sustained comic achievement. Flour and sugar are added with ceremonial gravity, the hat is covered. The revelation produces not a finished confection but a big old mess. Jed's assessment is characteristically generous, "That's a better-looking cake than she took out of the oven." The line is spoken with the quiet loyalty of a man who has never doubted the value of family effort, even when the results fall short of metropolitan standards. Granny's residual professional pride is equally characteristic. The hat, she implies, might usefully be retained as a baking implement. The entire exchange transforms a failed illusion into a small affirmation of domestic continuity. Jethro's decision emerges with the sudden absolute clarity that has always governed his more transformative enthusiasms. Having observed the performance from beginning to end, the young man announces that he has found his future. "You're what I'm gonna be." The declaration is offered to Marvel with complete conviction. Magic, he explains, beats working at the bank, brain surgeon, and double not spying, streetcar conducting, or anything. The catalogue of rejected occupations is itself a small comic treasure, a reminder of the wide and largely unexamined range of possibilities that have already passed through the young man's imagination. Marvel's response is the measured caution of a professional who recognizes both the sincerity of the ambition and the practical obstacles that stand in its way. Magic requires skill, knowledge, and above all, equipment. The equipment is difficult to obtain and extremely expensive. Jethro's solution is pure clampet practicality. Heck, fire, my Uncle Jed's got millions, well, he could buy me a whole warehouse full of stuff. The line is spoken without calculation or strategic intent. It is simply a fact of the young man's world. For Marvel, the magnificent, however, the fact represents the sudden reappearance of the very possibility that the bank had earlier denied him. The subsequent demonstration of the magic cabinet of the beautiful maiden is staged with the full theatrical gravity that the magician can still command. The cabinet is shown empty, it is rotated for inspection. The incantation is pronounced, beautiful maidens sweet and fair materialized from off of the air, and a young woman appears. Jethro's response is pure unfiltered wonder. Oh boy, can I learn to do that. The formal transfer of professional identity follows at once. Marvel places the magic wand in Jethro's hand, drapes the sorcerer's mantle about his shoulders, and sets the wizard's crown upon his head. The young man is declared ready. The subsequent attempt to reproduce the maiden effect is delivered with complete seriousness and absolute failure. The cabinet yields nothing. The incantation produces only Jethro's own triumphant conviction that the trick has succeeded. Yeehaw, I can get right the check, I'm a magician. The line is pure Max Bear Jr., expansive, unself-conscious, and entirely free of doubt. In the young man's mind, the performance has been a complete success. The absence of an actual maiden is simply a detail to be refined with further practice. The financial transaction that follows is handled with the same cheerful directness that has governed every previous clampet expenditure. Jed is informed that his nephew requires a warehouse of magical apparatus. The sum involved, $100,000 worth of equipment acquired for half price, is accepted with the quiet generosity that Buddy Ebsen always brought to questions of family support. There is no elaborate negotiation, no demand for detailed accounting. If the young man has found a path that promises to engage his energies, then the means to follow that path will be provided. The series writers understood that the most effective expressions of Jed's character emerge not from speeches about family loyalty but from the simple practical actions that loyalty requires. The subsequent performance that Jethro presents for Mr. Drysdale is a master class in the comedy of aspirational failure. The wrong handkerchief reappears, the rabbit refuses to emerge from the hat, the cake produced from the banker's own headwear is another substantial mess. The cabinet of the beautiful maiden yields only Miss Jane, who has been pressed into service as an emergency assistant. Each failed effect is received by Jethro with the same absolute confidence that had earlier accompanied the successful ones. I got to work on this one some more. The line is spoken without embarrassment or self-doubt. In the young man's imagination, the performance remains a work in progress rather than a demonstration of inadequacy. Drysdale's reaction is the pure institutional horror of a man who has just watched $100,000 of clampet capital disappear into a collection of apparatus that produces neither rabbits nor finished cakes. The banker's visible distress is met with Jed's characteristic generosity of interpretation. Cheer up, Mr. Drysdale, you might have lost a hat, but you gained a good hired hand for your bank. The line is pure Buddy Ebsen, quiet, affectionate, and already searching for the positive construction that will allow the family to move forward. The $50 million remains for the moment within the Commerce Bank. The Warehouse of Wonders has been acquired. Jethro the Magnificent has been born. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle examination of the period's competing models of self-invention and professional identity. The formal pathways of bank employment, the residual dignity of theatrical tradition, the sudden absolute enthusiasm of youthful ambition, all of these models are present in the scene and none is presented as definitively superior. Jethro's conviction that he has become a magician is genuine. Marvel's relief at having finally liquidated his warehouse is equally genuine. Jed's willingness to underwrite the entire enterprise is the quiet expression of a deeper family ethic. The series simply allows these currents to occupy the same space, and the result is comedy that remains both funny and oddly moving. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro moves from rapt spectator to crowned magician with the same expansive energy that has governed every previous transformation. Every failed effect, every triumphant declaration of success is delivered with complete conviction. The actor portraying Marvel the Magnificent conveys a residual professional pride that prevents the character from becoming a mere opportunist. He remains recognizably human even as he negotiates the final transfer of his life's accumulation of apparatus. Buddy Ebsen's Jed observes the entire proceeding with the steady, slightly amused courtesy of a man who has long since learned that the support of family ambition is itself a form of useful work. Irene Ryan's Granny supplies the necessary notes of practical skepticism without ever descending into simple rejection of the new. The wrong handkerchief, the powdered cake, the empty cabinet, the wizard's crown resting on Jethro's head, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of ambition filtered through the particular logic of the Clampett household. When the young man later turns his attention to still further enterprises, the audience will recognize that the birth of Jethro the Magnificent was simply one more expression of an entrepreneurial energy that remains at bottom both boundless and fundamentally good-hearted. The long house call remains postponed, the Brewster situation continues unresolved, yet a new and entirely unpredictable current has entered the family's life. In that combination of theatrical aspiration, financial generosity and unexpected human connection lies the enduring comic power of the series itself. The eruption of spring house cleaning arrives with the sudden Tensibus 70, absolute force of a natural phenomenon that has simply refused to observe the calendar. Long before the formal arrival of the season, before the last residual chill has departed from the Beverly Hills air, Granny announces that the time has come. The declaration is delivered with the same professional certainty that Irene Ryan always brought to matters of domestic order. I decide when it's spring around here now, I want every stick of furniture out on that lawn, all 32 rooms, that's right, out where the fresh air and sunshine can get to 'em. The line is spoken without consultation or preliminary discussion. In Granny's world, the rhythms of household maintenance are not subject to external negotiation. They are determined by the accumulated wisdom of decades spent keeping a cabin clean against the persistent encroachment of rural life. The scale of the enterprise is itself a comic achievement of the highest order. The Clampett mansion contains 32 rooms. The instruction to empty every one of them onto the lawn transforms an ordinary seasonal chore into a logistical operation of almost military proportions. Jethro is pressed into immediate service as the primary beast of burden. Furniture begins to move. The early morning quiet of the household is shattered by the steady procession of sofas, beds, chairs, and tables making their way into the open air. The visual comedy of the sequence is handled with the light touch that characterized the series' best physical work. Objects designed for the controlled environment of a Beverly Hills interior now stand exposed beneath the California sky, looking simultaneously dignified and faintly absurd. Jed's response is the quiet, measured concern of a man who has watched this particular form of domestic energy operate before. He recognizes at once that the cleaning will not be limited to a single day or a single wing of the house. Granny's standards, forged in the far more demanding environment of the hills, admit no compromise. The mansion will be scrubbed from top to bottom. And every piece of furniture will remain outside until the interior has been restored to a condition that satisfies her exacting judgment. The prospect fills Jed with a mixture of admiration and practical alarm. Admiration because the energy on display is the same energy that has held the family together through every previous dislocation. Alarm because the sheer physical cost of applying cabin standards to a 32-room mansion threatens to exhaust the very person whose vitality the household most requires. The early morning visit to Mr. Drysdale is staged with the deliberate formality that Buddy Ebsen always brought to moments of serious family consultation. Jed arrives at the banker's residence at 6 o'clock, an hour that Drysdale himself regards as the rightful beginning of a productive day. The banker's initial complacency, "I've been up for hours," is the automatic self-congratulation of a man who measures virtue by the earliness of his rising. Jed's explanation of the situation is characteristically direct. Back in the hills, he explains the winter months left everything closed and contained. When spring arrived, the entire contents of the cabin were carried outside so that the structure itself could be scrubbed clean. Granny is simply applying the same logic to the mansion. The difficulty is that the mansion is not a cabin, and the labor required is proportionally greater. Drysdale's reaction is pure institutional panic filtered through residual personal loyalty. The suggestion that the Clampetts might move to a smaller house in the country produces an immediate and absolute rejection. "You can't move, it'll break my bank heart." The line is delivered with the full intensity that Raymond Bailey brought to every threat against the $50 million. The banker's subsequent attempt to negotiate a compromise offering the eventual hospitality of his own wife for hog renderings and molasses stir-offs is the automatic calculation of a man who believes that every human problem can be solved by the careful application of social and financial incentives. Jed listens with the steady courtesy that has always governed his interactions with the metropolitan world, yet the core of his concern remains unaddressed. The mansion is simply too large for one elderly woman to maintain according to the standards she regards as non-negotiable. The plan that Jed subsequently forms with Jethro and Ellie Mae is a masterpiece of well-intentioned family strategy. If Granny can be brought to recognize that the labor is becoming too heavy, she may accept the idea of a smaller residence without feeling that her usefulness has been called into question. The method chosen is deliberate and gentle. The family will prime her with the slightest suggestions that she is beginning to show her age. The suggestions are to be offered with affection rather than criticism, with concern rather than dismissal. In the logic of the household, the goal is not to diminish Granny's authority but to preserve her strength for the years that remain. The priming itself unfolds with the delicate, almost ceremonial pacing of a carefully rehearsed performance. Jethro is instructed to remark on Granny's appearance. The young man's execution of the assignment is pure Jethro, expansive, unfiltered and entirely free of the subtlety that the plan had required. "Holy smoke, you look awful. What, you are ready for the boneyard? I ain't never seen anybody look so miserable." The line is delivered with complete sincerity. In Jethro's mind, the observation is simply an accurate report of visual evidence. The possibility that it might produce consequences beyond the immediate conversation does not occur to him. Granny's response is the quiet, startled self-examination of a woman who has never before been invited to consider her own mortality in such direct terms. The subsequent exchange about the spinning wheel deepens the comic and emotional pressure. Jethro inquires how long ago the wheel was made and receives the answer that it must be at least 150 years old. His follow-up question, "What did you use before you got this?" is offered with the same cheerful literalism that has governed every previous inquiry. The implication that Granny herself might predate the wheel is left unspoken, yet it hangs in the air with unmistakable clarity. When Jed is pressed for an accurate accounting of her age, he can only reply that the matter has never been precisely determined. The suggestion that she is as old as the hills is offered with affectionate humor, yet it lands with the force of an unintended verdict. Granny's decision to postpone the cleaning is the first indication that the priming has begun to achieve its intended effect. "Maybe I had ought to put off spring house cleaning for a spell." The line is spoken with the residual authority of a woman who still controls the household calendar, yet the authority now carries a faint note of self-doubt. She will rest for a little while. The furniture can remain where it is. The decision is accepted by the family with quiet relief. For a brief interval it appears that the strategy has succeeded without producing the deeper alarm that Jed had hoped to avoid. The cultural resonance of the sequence remains remarkably fresh more than half a century later. In the early 1960s, American society was itself negotiating the competing claims of traditional domestic labor and the emerging ideal of a less physically demanding old age. The image of an elderly woman single-handedly maintaining a 32-room mansion, according to the standards of a mountain cabin, spoke directly to contemporary anxieties about the adequacy of modern living arrangements for those whose habits had been formed in an earlier world. The series never labored the point. It simply allowed Granny's energy to operate at full intensity and then observed the consequences with affectionate precision. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny moves through the initial commands with the brisk efficiency of a woman who has never doubted the necessity of her own standards. Every gesture of direction, every insistence on the complete emptying of the house carries the full weight of lived authority. When the priming begins to take effect, the same actress registers the first faint tremors of self-doubt with a delicacy that prevents the moment from descending into simple pathos. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro executes the assignment of suggesting age, with the same expansive literalism that he has brought to every previous task. There is no malice in the observations, only the cheerful accuracy of a young man who has been told to notice certain things and who therefore notices them at full volume. Buddy Ebsen's Jed watches the entire proceeding with the steady, slightly anxious courtesy of a man who has set a plan in motion and who is no longer entirely certain that he can control its consequences. The 32 rooms, the furniture standing in the open air, the early morning consultation at the bank, the spinning wheel of uncertain antiquity. The first hesitant decision to wrest all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of domestic energy confronting the limits of physical capacity. The sequence does not resolve the tension, it simply establishes the conditions under which the tension will intensify. Granny has agreed to pause. The family has achieved a temporary reprieve. Yet the deeper question of how an elderly woman of unyielding standards is to inhabit a house designed for an entirely different scale of life remains unanswered. In the scenes that follow, that question will produce consequences far beyond the modest intentions of the priming plan. The spring house cleaning frenzy thus stands as one of the purest expressions of the series' gift for transforming ordinary domestic activity into sustained character comedy. The labor is real, the standards are non-negotiable, the physical cost is genuine. At the same time, the entire enterprise is filtered through the particular logic of a family that continues to apply the values of the Hills to the circumstances of Beverly Hills. The result is comedy that remains both funny and oddly moving. A reminder that the most enduring conflicts are often those that arise from the simple attempt to live according to principles that no longer fit the available architecture. When Granny finally allows herself a brief interval of rest, the audience understands that the pause is temporary. The energy that emptied 32 rooms onto the lawn has not been extinguished, it has only been deferred. In that combination of relentless standards, affectionate family strategy, and the first faint acknowledgement of human limit lies the enduring comic and emotional power of the sequence. The broader thematic implications extend well beyond the immediate household. In an era increasingly organized around convenience, specialization, and the delegation of labor, Granny's insistence on performing the work herself, according to the old methods, constitutes a quiet form of resistance. She does not hire additional help. She does not reduce her standards to match the size of the house. She simply begins the work at the hour she has determined to be appropriate and continues until the work is done or until her own strength requires a pause. The series observes this resistance without sentimentality and without condescension. The comedy emerges from the collision between the scale of the task and the single-minded energy brought to bear upon it. The affection emerges from the unmistakable continuity between this energy and the same energy that once kept a mountain cabin clean against far more insistent forms of dirt and disorder. Jed's early morning consultation with Drysdale adds a further layer of institutional complication. The banker's panic at the mere suggestion of a move to the country is the panic of a man whose entire professional identity has become entangled with the physical proximity of the Clampett fortune. The $50 million is not, in Drysdale's imagination, an abstract sum that can be managed at a distance. It is a living presence that must be kept under daily observation. The possibility that the family might relocate even to a residence still within the general orbit of Beverly Hills represents a threat to the carefully maintained arrangements that have governed the banker's life since the Clampetts first arrived. The series allows this institutional anxiety to operate in parallel with the domestic concern, creating a double plot in which family loyalty and financial self-interest pursue overlapping yet fundamentally different objectives. The priming conversations themselves reward close attention. Jethro's observations about Granny's appearance are offered without the slightest intention of cruelty. In the young man's moral universe, accuracy of report is a form of usefulness. If he has been asked to notice signs of age, then the signs must be reported at full strength. The spinning wheel exchange deepens the effect by introducing the dimension of historical time. The wheel is 150 years old. The question of what preceded it invites the listener to consider a span of experience that exceeds ordinary human measurement. When Jed is unable to supply a precise age, the absence of the number itself becomes a form of answer. Granny is simply as old as the hills, and the hills do not keep exact accounts. The decision to rest is therefore both a small victory for the family's strategy and the opening movement of a far more complicated emotional development. Granny has accepted the possibility that the labor may be too heavy. She has not yet accepted the further possibility that her place within the household might itself be subject to renegotiation. That further possibility will emerge in the scenes that follow, and it will emerge with a force that none of the participants has fully anticipated. For the moment, however, the furniture remains on the lawn, the interior of the mansion waits for the return of its chief custodian, and the household exists in a temporary equilibrium between the old standards and the new recognition that those standards may exact a cost. In the end, the spring house cleaning frenzy accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action. It advances the central conflicts of the episode through the collision of incompatible scales of life, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The 32 rooms, the early morning hour, the spinning wheel of uncertain age, the first hesitant pause, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both Granny's unyielding energy and the family's affectionate attempt to protect that energy from its own consequences. When the pause ends, as it inevitably must, the audience will be prepared for the fuller emotional reckoning that the priming has set in motion. The long house call remains postponed, the Brewster situation continues unresolved, the warehouse of magical apparatus stands ready for further experiment. Yet the most immediate and most human drama now centers on the question of how an elderly woman of absolute standards is to continue inhabiting a house that was never designed for the full force of her particular form of care. In that question, and in the comedy and affection with which the series explores it, lies the enduring power of the sequence itself. The carefully constructed plan to ease Granny into an acceptance of reduced labor collapses with the sudden absolute force of a misunderstanding that none of the participants has fully anticipated. What began as a gentle series of suggestions about the weight of the work transforms in the space of a single conversation into the most profound crisis of belonging that the Clampett household has yet faced. Jed's intention had been protective. He had hoped to convince Granny that the 32-room mansion exacted a physical cost no longer sustainable, and that a smaller residence in the country might preserve both her strength and her central place within the family. The language he chooses, however, carries implications he has not foreseen. Somewhere out in the country there's a home just waiting for you. The word home, offered with affectionate reassurance, is received by Granny as the formal designation of an institution she has spent a lifetime determined to avoid. The confrontation that follows is one of the purest and most emotionally charged sequences in the entire composite script. Granny's accusation is immediate and absolute. "You're fixing to send me to the old folks' home." Jed's denial is equally absolute, yet each successive protest only deepens her conviction. The exchange accelerates into a rapid, almost ritualistic alternation of affirmation and negation. "I ain't neither, yes you are. I ain't no such a thing, you swear it. I swear yes you are," until the very structure of language seems to break under the pressure of mutual incomprehension. Irene Ryan's performance in these moments is a master class in the expression of wounded dignity. Every repetition of the fatal phrase carries the accumulated weight of a woman who has never before been invited to consider herself disposable. Jethro's intervention, intended as support for his uncle's plan, only intensifies the crisis. "Well, you're awful old, Granny boy, and you're not just over the hill, you're down in the hollow." The line is delivered with the same cheerful literalism that has governed every previous observation the young man has offered. In Jethro's moral universe, accuracy of report remains a form of usefulness. He has been asked to notice signs of age, and he therefore notices them at full volume. The effect on Granny is catastrophic. The priming that was meant to produce a modest acceptance of rest has instead produced the conviction that her family intends to discard her. The flight into the brush is staged with the physical urgency that the series always reserved for moments of genuine emotional extremity. Granny refuses the truck, refuses the proposed inspection of country properties, and finally refuses the house itself. She disappears into the heavy vegetation that still surrounds portions of the Clampett estate, leaving behind only the declaration that she is too young for the institution her family has supposedly prepared. Jed's response is the quiet, desperate practicality of a man whose well-intentioned strategy has produced the opposite of its intended result. Duke is summoned. The Hound is instructed to pick up the trail. Jethro is dispatched to the country to scout possible residences. The household that had begun the morning in the orderly chaos of spring cleaning now exists in a state of complete dispersal. The parallel arrival of the professional housekeeper Mrs. Mack adds a further layer of institutional complication. Miss Jane, acting on Drysdale's instructions, has secured the services of a woman recommended for her competence and reliability. The introduction takes place in a house that appears deserted. Mrs. Mack's cheerful assumption of authority "that's my job now, what I'm the new housekeeper" collides at once with Granny's sudden reappearance. The older woman's response is pure, unfiltered defiance. She has not been consulted. She has not been given a chance to demonstrate her continued capacity. The presence of a replacement is simply the final confirmation of the plot she has already inferred. Her decision is immediate. She will leave. She will return to the hills. She will arrange for a proper burial among her own people rather than wait for the institutional disposal she believes has been prepared for her. The subsequent appearance at the Commerce Bank is one of the most remarkable expressions of character integrity in the entire series. Granny arrives with a wheelbarrow and a clear purpose. "You can put my share of Jed's money in that wheelbarrow. I'm going back home to the hills to be laid away." The request is delivered with the same professional composure that she has always brought to matters of practical arrangement. The sum involved, nearly $13 million, is accepted as a simple fact of accounting rather than a source of wonder. In Granny's moral universe, the money is hers by right of family membership. Its primary usefulness now lies in the purchase of a funeral that will meet the standards of the hills rather than the convenience of Beverly Hills. Drysdale's response oscillates between institutional panic and genuine human concern. The banker who has spent years calculating the retention of the Clampett fortune now confronts the possibility that a significant portion of that fortune may depart in a wheelbarrow. At the same time, the visible distress of the elderly woman who has become, against all institutional logic, a figure of residual affection produces a rare moment of uncalculated sympathy. His attempts to persuade her to return to the mansion are met with the same absolute refusal that has governed every previous exchange. She has given the family the best years of her life. She has been repaid with the announcement that those years have rendered her obsolete. The conclusion, in her view, is inescapable. The temporary resolution that Drysdale devises is itself a masterpiece of improvisational desperation. Unable to persuade Granny to return to the Clampett residence, he offers her employment within the bank. The position of secretary is presented as a recognition of her continued usefulness rather than a consolation for obsolescence. Granny accepts with the same brisk efficiency that she has always brought to new responsibilities. "I am now what you call a career girl." The declaration is offered without irony. In the space of a single morning, she has moved from the conviction that she is being discarded to the determination that she will demonstrate her value in the very institution that manages the family fortune. The wheelbarrow is left outside. The funeral arrangements are postponed. The long house call remains suspended, yet a new and entirely unpredictable current has entered the household's life. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a remarkably clear-eyed examination of the period's emerging anxieties about aging, institutional care, and the place of the elderly within the nuclear family. The old folks' home as an idea carried a weight of social dread that the series neither exaggerates nor sentimentalizes. Granny's terror is genuine. Jed's intentions are equally genuine. The collision between them produces a crisis that neither party has the language to resolve. The series simply allows the crisis to unfold according to the logic of character, and the result is comedy that remains both funny and deeply affecting. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny moves from wounded accusation to physical flight to institutional confrontation with a precision that never loses the underlying dignity of the character. Every repetition of the phrase old folks home, every declaration of continued capacity carries the full weight of a lifetime spent in useful labor. Buddy Ebsen's Jed registers the collapse of his plan with the steady, increasingly desperate courtesy of a man who has always believed that affection and practical care could be made to coincide. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro continues to offer observations of absolute literal accuracy, unaware that the accuracy itself has become a form of injury. Raymond Bailey's Drysdale oscillates between financial calculation and residual human concern with a complexity that prevents the banker from becoming a simple antagonist. The priming conversations, the flight into the brush, the wheelbarrow at the bank, the sudden acceptance of secretarial employment, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of independence, confronting the fear of obsolescence. The sequence does not resolve the underlying tension. It simply establishes the conditions under which the tension will continue to operate. Granny has demonstrated that she will not be discarded. She has not yet demonstrated how the standards of the hills are to be reconciled with the scale of the mansion or the institutional rhythms of the bank. That further demonstration will occupy the scenes that follow, and it will occupy them with the same mixture of comedy and emotional seriousness that has governed every previous development. The deeper thematic implications extend well beyond the immediate household. In an era increasingly organized around specialized institutions and the delegation of care, Granny's refusal to accept the category of the obsolete constitutes a quiet form of resistance. She does not negotiate the terms of her usefulness. She does not accept a reduced role within a structure designed by others. She simply declares that the structure itself must accommodate the full force of her continued capacity, or she will remove herself from it entirely. The series observes this resistance without sentimentality and without condescension. The comedy emerges from the collision between institutional categories and individual refusal. The affection emerges from the unmistakable continuity between this refusal and the same energy that once kept a mountain cabin clean against every form of disorder. Jed's original plan, viewed in retrospect, reveals the full complexity of protective intention. He had sought to preserve Granny's strength by reducing the scale of her labor. He had not anticipated that the language of reduction would be received as the language of disposal. The failure is not a failure of affection. It is a failure of translation between two different understandings of what it means to remain necessary. The series allows that failure to stand without easy correction. The temporary solution of bank employment postpones the deeper reckoning, it does not eliminate it. When Granny later assumes the duties of secretary with the same absolute standards she once applied to the mansion, the audience will recognize that the crisis of belonging has simply changed its institutional address. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action. It advances the central conflicts of the episode through the collision of incompatible assumptions about age and usefulness, and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The repeated denials, the flight into the vegetation, the wheelbarrow waiting for $13 million, the sudden transformation into a career girl, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both Granny's unyielding independence and the family's imperfect attempt to protect that independence from its own consequences. When the immediate crisis subsides, the audience understands that the pause is temporary. The energy that emptied 32 rooms onto the lawn and then carried a wheelbarrow to the bank has not been extinguished, it has only been redirected. In that redirection, and in the comedy and affection with which the series explores it, lies the enduring power of the sequence itself. The long house call remains postponed. The Brewster situation continues unresolved. The warehouse of magical apparatus stands ready for further experiment. The furniture still waits upon the lawn, yet the most immediate and most human drama now centers on the question of how an elderly woman of absolute standards is to continue asserting her place within structures that were never designed for the full force of her particular form of care. In that question, and in the defiance with which Granny answers it, the series finds one of its purest expressions of character integrity. The old folks' home has been refused. The career has been accepted. The independence remains intact, and the household dispersed and reassembled around this new configuration of loyalty and labor prepares itself for whatever further complications the day will bring. The transformation of Granny from embattled guardian of the 32-room mansion into the newest employee of the Commerce Bank unfolds with the same brisk, uncompromising energy that has governed every previous chapter of her life. Having rejected the old folks' home with absolute finality and having momentarily contemplated a solitary return to the hills for a proper burial, she accepts Drysdale's improvised offer of secretarial employment as a direct demonstration of continued usefulness. The acceptance is neither hesitant nor provisional. "I am now what you call a career girl," she declares, and the line is spoken with the full conviction of a woman who has never doubted her capacity to master any task placed before her. Irene Ryan's delivery carries the quiet authority of someone who has simply relocated the site of her labor without altering its fundamental standards. The first morning in the bank is staged as a collision between two entirely different conceptions of professional competence. Granny arrives prepared to work. She has changed her dress, set aside the wheelbarrow, and assumed the posture of a person who intends to remain. Drysdale, still recovering from the financial and emotional shock of the preceding hour's attempts to introduce her to the elementary machinery of office life. The typewriter is presented as the primary instrument of secretarial labor. Granny approaches it with the same practical curiosity she once brought to unfamiliar tools in the hills. "Do you know how to type? I can learn now. Press the button. Am I typing?" The exchange is pure culture clash comedy of the highest order. The machine responds to her touch with the impersonal efficiency of modern technology. She responds to the machine with the personal determination of a woman who has never accepted the category of the unteachable. The telephone provides a second and more immediately public demonstration of her new identity. When the instrument rings, Granny answers with the same direct hospitality that once greeted visitors at the cabin door. "Hello, Mr. Drysdale's office secretary." Granny speaking. The identification is complete and unapologetic. On the other end of the line, Mrs. Drysdale receives the information with the mixture of surprise and residual domestic concern that has always characterized her relationship to the Clampett orbit. The subsequent conversation, Granny cheerfully reporting that the banker's house is in urgent need of a thorough cleaning, produces one of the sequence's most delicately observed comic reversals. The woman who has just been rescued from the threat of institutional obsolescence is already reorganizing the domestic arrangements of her employer's private life according to the standards of the hills. Jed's arrival at the bank produces a moment of pure familial astonishment. He has spent the morning searching the countryside and the brush for a woman he believed to be in flight from the household. He finds her instead installed behind a desk, answering the telephone and declaring herself a career girl. The reunion is staged with the quiet emotional precision that Buddy Ebsen always brought to moments of restored connection. There is no elaborate speech of reconciliation. There is simply the visible relief of a man who has recovered a central member of his family and the equally visible determination of the woman who has no intention of relinquishing her newly claimed position. When Jed attempts to persuade her to return to the mansion, Granny's refusal is absolute. The old folks' home has been avoided. The career has been accepted. The independence remains non-negotiable. The rapid elevation that follows is one of the purest expressions of the series' gift for institutional farce. Drysdale, confronted with the impossibility of removing Granny from the premises without precipitating another crisis of departure, elects to promote her. The promotion is announced with the expansive generosity that the banker always displayed when the retention of the Clampett fortune was at stake. "I'm moving you up to an office on top of the whole building. You'll be vice president in charge of the whole building." The title is invented on the spot. Its duties are left deliberately vague. Granny receives the announcement with the same professional composure she once brought to the news of a difficult delivery. "What'll I do up there?" The question is practical rather than skeptical. If the position exists, then the work must be defined and performed according to the standards she regards as non-negotiable. The subsequent interpretation of the new role is pure Granny. Instructed that she is in charge of the whole building, she understands the assignment in the most literal and comprehensive sense. The building is to be cleaned. The furniture is to be moved. The air and sunshine are to be admitted. The same energy that once emptied 32 rooms onto the Clampett lawn is now directed toward the institutional architecture of the Commerce Bank. Clerks and secretaries find themselves drafted into an impromptu spring cleaning whose scale exceeds anything the bank has previously experienced. Drysdale's visible horror is the horror of a man who has solved one crisis only by creating another of equal or greater magnitude. The $50 million remains within the vaults. The daily operations of the bank have been temporarily subordinated to the standards of a mountain cabin. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a remarkably clear-eyed examination of the period's competing models of female labor and institutional authority. The professional secretary, the executive promotion, the sudden invention of a vice presidential title, all of these elements belong to the expanding corporate culture of the decade. Granny's interpretation of them belongs to an older and more absolute conception of useful work. She does not negotiate the boundaries of her responsibility. She does not accept a reduced or symbolic role. She simply applies the full force of her standards to whatever domain has been placed under her authority. The series observes the collision without sentimentality and without condescension. The comedy emerges from the absolute literalism with which the new title is received. The affection emerges from the unmistakable continuity between this literalism and the same energy that once kept a family intact across every form of dislocation. The performances that animate the sequence are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny moves from the wheelbarrow to the typewriter to the invented vice presidency with a precision that never loses the underlying dignity of the character. Every declaration of professional identity, every practical question about the nature of the work carries the full weight of a lifetime spent in useful labor. Raymond Bailey's Drysdale oscillates between residual panic and improvisational generosity with a complexity that prevents the banker from becoming a simple foil. The promotion is simultaneously a genuine attempt to resolve a human crisis and a calculated effort to keep $13 million from departing in a wheelbarrow. Buddy Ebsen's Jed registers the successive transformations with the steady, slightly dazed courtesy of a man who has long since learned that Beverly Hills is capable of producing almost any form of human rearrangement. The typewriter that responds to an unfamiliar touch, the telephone answered with cabin hospitality, the sudden invention of a vice presidential title, the immediate translation of that title into a building-wide cleaning operation, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of independence asserting itself within institutional structures that were never designed to accommodate it. The sequence does not resolve the underlying tension between Granny's standards and the scale of the environments she inhabits. It simply demonstrates that those standards will continue to operate regardless of the institutional address at which they are applied. The mansion has been temporarily abandoned. The bank has been temporarily reorganized. The independence remains intact. The deeper thematic implications extend well beyond the immediate comic situation. In an era increasingly organized around specialized roles, delegated authority, and the careful insulation of executive function from physical labor, Granny's refusal to accept any such insulation constitutes a quiet form of resistance. She does not become a symbolic presence in an office on the top floor. She becomes the active principle of order for the entire building. The series allows this resistance to operate without easy correction or sentimental resolution. The temporary equilibrium achieved by the promotion postpones the deeper reckoning between absolute standards and institutional scale. It does not eliminate it. When the cleaning of the bank eventually collides with the ordinary requirements of financial operation, the audience will recognize that the crisis of usefulness has simply changed its location once again. Jed's quiet acceptance of the new arrangement reveals the full complexity of his protective intention. He had sought to preserve Granny's strength by reducing the scale of her labor. He now finds himself preserving her independence by accepting an expansion of that labor into an entirely new institutional domain. The failure of the original plan has produced a solution that neither party had anticipated, yet the solution honors the same underlying loyalty that motivated the plan in the first place. The series allows this paradoxical outcome to stand without elaborate explanation. Affection has sought one path and arrived by another. The continuity of care remains unbroken. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action. It advances the central conflicts of the episode through the collision of incompatible conceptions of useful work. and it does so with an abundance of specific memorable detail. The career girl declaration, the typewriter experiment, the telephone greeting, the invented vice presidency, the building-wide application of cabin standards, all of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of both Granny's unyielding capacity and the institutional world's imperfect attempt to contain it. When the immediate rearrangements subside, the audience understands that the pause is temporary. The energy that once emptied the mansion and then carried a wheelbarrow to the bank has not been extinguished, it has only been given a new and larger field of operation. In that expansion, and in the comedy and affection with which the series explores it, lies the enduring power of the sequence itself. The long house call remains postponed, the Brewster situation continues unresolved, the warehouse of magical apparatus stands ready for further experiment. The furniture still waits upon the lawn, yet the most immediate drama now centers on the question of how an elderly woman of absolute standards is to continue asserting her place within the very institution that manages the family fortune. The old folks' home has been refused. The career has been accepted. The vice presidency has been invented. And the household reassembled around this new configuration of loyalty and labor prepares itself for whatever further complications the day will bring. In that preparation and in the defiant continuity of care that makes it possible, the series finds one of its purest expressions of character integrity. The arrival of Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs restores to the Clampett household a current of familiar music and mountain fellowship that the preceding complications have temporarily obscured. The musicians and their wives enter a domestic landscape still marked by the residual disorder of spring cleaning, the unresolved Brewster situation, the warehouse of magical apparatus, and Granny's recent institutional elevation. Yet the presence of the visitors immediately reasserts the older rhythms of hospitality that have always defined the family's deepest identity. Places are set at the long table. Ellie Mae calculates the proper number of settings with the careful attention of a young woman who has learned that company requires exact provision. Jethro is assigned a seat at a safe distance from the elbows of the guests. The ordinary machinery of Clampett welcome begins to operate once more. Jed's concern about punctuality at the airport produces one of the sequence's most characteristic comic engines. Jethro has prepared a surprise. The truck has been modified. The modification is presented with the same expansive confidence that has governed every previous invention. This here's a surprise I've been working on. It's kind of like a windmill. I call it my traffic jam jumper. The demonstration that follows is pure physical comedy of the highest order. The vehicle leaves the ground. It hovers. It fails to move forward. The problem of horizontal progress has not been solved. The solution for descent is offered with equal cheerfulness: simply shut off the engine. Jed's quiet assessment, "I'll tell you later, right now I gotta get somebody out to that airport," carries the full weight of a man who has long since learned that his nephew's mechanical enthusiasm requires constant supervisory correction. Miss Jane's reluctant participation in the airport errand expands the comic field into the institutional world of the Commerce Bank. She is pressed into service as chauffeur. The open car fills with musicians and song. Little Brown Jug rises into the Beverly Hills air. Mrs. Drysdale, monitoring the banker's car telephone, receives reports of flying trucks and singing secretaries with the mounting conviction that her husband's professional life has once again been invaded by hill country disorder. The subsequent confrontation at the bank, Miss Jane's summary dismissal, the collection of 53 cents, the rapid reversal when the identity of the passengers is revealed constitutes one of the series' purest expressions of institutional farce colliding with genuine human loyalty. Nancy Culp's performance moves from wounded professional dignity to quiet triumph with a precision that never loses the character's underlying integrity. The cooking lessons that Granny undertakes with Gladys Flatt form the emotional and thematic center of the final movement. The curriculum is announced with characteristic ambition, everything from pickling pig's knuckles to the preparation of hogshead cheese, beginning with the selection and butchering of the animal itself. Gladys's resistance is immediate and sincere. She has no gift for the dishes of the hills. What she desires is the opportunity to sing. The collision between these two forms of aspiration, Granny's determination to transmit the practical arts of mountain domesticity and Gladys's longing for a place within the musical tradition represented by her husband and Earl, Scruggs produces a sustained and delicately observed comedy of mutual incomprehension. The corn-pone sticks that Gladys produces under Granny's supervision become a small emblem of the entire cultural negotiation. They are baked. They are set outside to cool. They prove too hard for human consumption. Birds and squirrels are suspected. Lester's polite request for a taste is met with the cheerful substitution of a fresh batch. The failure is not presented as a defeat. It is simply another stage in a process of instruction that Granny has no intention of abandoning. At the same time, the musicians' attempts to introduce Gladys to the repertoire of the Hills, Stomp and the Clover Sweet Nellie, The Sinking of the Titanic, The Wreck of the Old 97 are met with equal resistance. She prefers the sophisticated songs of another tradition. The impasse is genuine. Neither party can fully enter the aesthetic world of the other. Jethro's continued refinement of the traffic jam jumper supplies a parallel current of mechanical aspiration. Rocket power is added. The problem of forward motion is declared solved. The subsequent demonstration once again places the household in physical jeopardy. Jed's quiet instruction, "Don't let him turn off the key," is the automatic response of a man who has already calculated the consequences of an unscheduled descent. The invention remains a work in progress. Its inventor remains undeterred. The series allows both facts to stand without resolution, trusting that the comedy of perpetual improvement will speak for itself. The final musical gathering restores a measure of temporary harmony. Gladys is persuaded to attempt the wreck of the old 97. The performance is earnest, limited in power, and received with the complicated loyalty of men who love the singer more than the song. Granny's assessment is characteristically direct. The voice is pleasant but lacks the volume required to compete with livestock judges, cackling chickens and squealing pigs. The observation is offered without cruelty. It is simply an accurate report of the acoustic conditions of the world Granny knows. Gladys's continued preference for another repertoire is equally accurate to the world she inhabits. The series does not force a false synthesis. It simply allows the two traditions to occupy the same space for an evening, and the result is comedy that remains both funny and oddly moving. In the broader cultural context of the mid-1960s, the sequence functions as a gentle yet persistent examination of the period's competing models of authenticity, performance, and domestic art. Bluegrass music had already begun its journey from regional form to national recognition. The sophisticated popular song remained the dominant language of urban entertainment. Mountain cookery stood at an increasing distance from the convenience foods and formal dining of metropolitan life. The Clampett household becomes the temporary meeting ground for all three currents. No current is declared victorious. Each is allowed to assert its own standards, and the comedy emerges from the absolute seriousness with which those standards are maintained. The performances that animate the final movement are themselves a study in the series' quiet excellence. Irene Ryan's Granny pursues the cooking curriculum with the same uncompromising energy she once brought to the cleaning of 32 rooms. Every instruction, every assessment of the cornpone sticks carries the full weight of a lifetime spent in the practical arts of the Hills. The guest musicians and their wives convey a genuine professional and personal presence that prevents them from becoming mere foils. Max Baer Jr.'s Jethro continues to refine his invention with the same expansive confidence that has governed every previous scheme. Buddy Ebsen's Jed moves through the successive complications with the steady, affectionate courtesy of a man who has long since accepted that the household he governs will never achieve permanent equilibrium. Nancy Culp's Miss Jane recovers her position at the bank with the quiet dignity of a professional who has been both injured and vindicated within the space of a single afternoon. The traffic jam jumper hovering without forward progress, the cornpone sticks too hard for human teeth, the open car performance of Little Brown Jug, the rapid sequence of firing and rehiring at the Commerce Bank, the unresolved negotiation between mountain repertoire and sophisticated song, all of these particulars accumulate into a portrait of a family that continues to meet the world with the same mixture of openness and absolute standards that has defined it from the beginning. The sequence does not resolve the larger tensions of the episode. The Brewster situation remains suspended. The magical apparatus waits for further experiment. The furniture still stands upon the lawn. Granny's vice presidency continues to redefine the daily operations of the bank. Yet the presence of the visitors has reasserted the deeper continuity of hospitality music and shared labor that no institutional complication has been able to extinguish. The lasting charm of the series resides precisely in this continuity. Across every dislocation of geography, fortune, and institutional entanglement, the Clampetts remain recognizably themselves. They meet the commercial procedures of Beverly Hills with the practical logic of the Hills. They meet the sophisticated forms of metropolitan entertainment with the unfiltered enthusiasm of people who have never learned to doubt the value of their own pleasures. They meet the fear of obsolescence with a defiant assertion of continued usefulness. And they meet the arrival of old friends with a hospitality that requires no translation. The final movement of the script simply allows these qualities to operate in their purest form for a single evening of music, food, mechanical experiment, and mutual incomprehension. In the end, the sequence accomplishes everything that the finest situation comedy must accomplish. It reveals character through action. It gathers the unresolved currents of the preceding episodes into a temporary and affectionate equilibrium, and it does so with an abundance of specific, memorable detail. The rocket-powered truck that cannot yet move forward, the cornpone sticks that defeat even Lester Flatt's polite appetite. The secretary restored to her desk after a collection of 53 cents. The mountain songs that cannot quite accommodate a voice trained to another tradition. All of these elements deepen the audience's understanding of a family whose charm has never depended upon the resolution of conflict. The conflicts remain. The charm remains. And the series, true to its own deepest commitments, allows both to stand together without forcing a false reconciliation. The long house call that began the adventure has been postponed, redirected, suspended, and finally absorbed into the larger pattern of a life that continues to answer every new circumstance with the same mixture of duty, invention, and unshakable loyalty. The hills are still there. Beverly Hills is still there. The distance between them has not diminished. Yet the Clampetts continue to inhabit that distance with a grace that remains more than half a century later, both comic and profoundly humane. In that continued habitation and in the music that briefly fills the house as the day ends, the series finds its most enduring affirmation of the values it has never ceased to celebrate.